seems you have to defeat this one to move on.
Wow, astute observation, Fuka. I couldn't do it without you. Okay. What I'm gonna want to do here is, first off, obviously scan these guys so my party members know what to do. I'm gonna have Akihiko... Actually, I got these guys set up just the way I want them. These guys attack with a pretty simple pattern. They will just rotate through single-target elemental spells, blasting at random party members. We don't have a way to keep up the offense with the protagonist and still cover his weakness, so I want my team to be on standby for healing, just in case anything particularly nasty gets thrown my way. Otherwise, if nothing bad happens, we can just have them rush through and deal some damage for us. They themselves are not immune to elemental spells, so we're good to deal some pretty good damage there. I'll let Junpei make his choices on what physical attacks he should use. Luckily, they're being very dumb and going after Akihiko. Okay, Blade of Fury. Unfortunately, we don't have Vorpal Blade on him yet, but he's still doing some pretty good damage there. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm actually going to have Ken just go for a whack there with the Gibalog, and then we will go for another Maragidine. This fight can be a little scary sometimes, but if you have a way to keep up your offense while still covering your own weakness, then it's obviously no problem. That's a very questionable decision there, Akihiko, but hey, let him have his fun. Okay, here comes the Bufudines, but we've got Akihiko equipped with gloves that protect him against that. Junpei's Blade of Fury here should take out at least one of these guys. Yes! Matter of fact, it did. Would definitely like to see
That wasn't good.
Vorpal Blade on him. Junpei can never really benefit from the great bonus of Vorpal Blade, but the raw damage of it is so much higher than any other multi-targeting slash skill, it hardly matters or impedes him too much. The only ways to intentionally get the great condition onto Junpei are to either go on a specific day where he's feeling great, or use the Inari Sushi. Also note that we get 15 beads for defeating this boss fight. This is meant to give you a little bit of help for the bonus boss, if you're going for it through this playthrough, so keep this in mind.
It seems you have to defeat this one to move on.
What a stupid comment. Thank you, Fuka. I'm sorry. I'm being mean there. That's a little judgmental. It's just a very silly thing to say. I would have never guessed that one. Anyway, we're just gonna pop off with our Maragidines. Hope a Bufudine doesn't get winged my way, but it's not the end of the world if that does happen. These guys can often be pretty content to just do stupid things like juice up Yukari and Mitsuru by hitting their nullifications. Makes them feel extra motivated. I would have done well to have Odin equipped there. Okay, so let's see. These guys don't seem to be resistant to any form of physical attack, so we'll just go right into the heat waves here. No crit, I'm afraid, which would be nice if we did get that. Nice, hey! I like it when they do that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're still rocking Mabufula for Mitsuru, but hey, she's got a good combo of Ice Boost and the Varuna Bracers, so that works out pretty decently for her, if nothing else. We should be able to go through these guys in just a matter of a couple turns. I guess it's still a little under-leveled as far as stats go for us at this point. We'll be able to catch her up pretty soon once we get up to, well, not pretty soon, but in a couple of floor sets, because the EXP that the enemies award once you get past the third Guardian really starts to skyrocket, and it's pretty awesome.
Enemy is still alive.
Alright. Not having particularly bad luck here. It's all going pretty well. The only thing that would be nice is if Mitsuru had the higher tier ice magic there. Mabufudine really does level up her damage quite a bit, so a bit disappointing that she's not able to hit harder. But hey, that could have gone worse if they decided to wing some Bufudines at the Femc, but I did have some accounting for that with the Spirit Bracers. Not bad, not bad. Okay, we've got the Obsessive Sand here. Let's go for, what's he gonna... I always forget. What are my controls here? Right. I was trying to remember what the button is to see who goes next. The controls are so wildly different from this version and the other two versions, and those are the ones that I've played for more than a few hours recently, so it's easy for me to get mixed up there. Once again, we'll switch over to Futsunushi to get our damage boot, or our debilitate in, and then we will just tee off with the best things we have at our disposal. I haven't set up Junpei for using Blaze of Life, so we'll just go for a Hack and Blast here. It should still do pretty good damage for him. Unfortunately, no luck with the crit there. Ditto for Aegis, we're just gonna have her go in with maximum firepower, and we should be able to take this guy out pretty quickly within our next turn. You love to see it. You love to see it. This guy's already almost down. Let's, just for the sake of it, scan him real quick to see what we're dealing with. And physical attacks are indeed the way to go here. So, you know what, Yukari? Put that bow to use for once. There we go. Not too bad, honestly. Alright, get our rewards here.
It seems to be guarding this area. Be careful, it's powerful.
Alrighty, next up we got here the Carnal Snakes. These guys are immune to fire, so Surt's not going to do much damage here. They are also resistant to Elec, but critically are not immune to it. So, let's take a look at what the turn order is here. I'm just thinking about who would be a good one to go after. We'll start with that one that is 2. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to assign target. It's been a while since we've used this option. I'm going to assign everybody to this guy right here. Also, these guys attack with fire magic as well as Mudon skills. So Ken is at a bit of a risk here, but I think I'll keep him on heal and support just to hedge our bets on that. What we're gonna do is, actually, what am I doing here? No, he's gonna recover from that. I completely forgot about how this actually works. Okay, change of plans. I'll let me see here. 7, 3. Okay, actually, what we're gonna do here is we're going to, never mind with having Ken on heal and support. We're going to assign the target there, assign this target, and then actually what we're gonna do is we're gonna have, Junpei in full assault. That should be fine. Oh, I almost forgot. Thunder Rain dissipates once the enemy's turn comes up, so gotta be a bit more particular about how you use this. Let's see. Fire Break, that's fine. I'm not concerned about that. We'll just knock this guy on his ass here. And deal some pretty huge damage to him. Almost get him taken out right away. Here comes a Mudon, and of course he goes right for Ken, which is expected, but that's fine. We can manage. We've got plenty of homunculi at this stage of the game, so I'm not too concerned about these being winged at the protagonist. It is a little bit frustrating, but not the end of the world. Oof. Spirit Drain is actually pretty serious in this game. I was playing Vanilla recently, and Spirit Drain is... Oh, hey! Junpei's got Brave Blade at his disposal now. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Let me think here. Let's focus on getting this guy taken care of first. Once we thin their numbers a bit, we can then use the opportunity to get Ken back in. Here comes another Mudon. Probably going to see a lot of my homunculi eaten up here, but that's fine. I'm not overly concerned about that. It's a little frustrating, but not the end of the world if that happens. Mazionka coming out from Akihiko, which is probably one of the least effective things you can do. Honestly, I probably would have been better off just having him do a rush there. Let me think. Unfortunately, Junpei is dead last in the turn order, so not really any way I can get him to take advantage of the shock. Let's see. Actually, what am I gonna do here? Let's reassign Akihiko here. We will have Akihiko go after... Actually, you know what? Nah, we'll focus on getting him killed. I was maybe considering giving myself more of a leg up in the turn order by just knocking him down instead, but I think this is more sensible to go for. We do have to be mindful that our buffs are going to wear off soon, so that could potentially be a problem, but I think we should be able to manage. What I can do is put up a magic mirror to give ourselves a little bit of protection.
Still alive.
Right. Junpei is probably going to be... That's a bit unfortunate there. Junpei is probably going to be a little unwilling to do anything here. Oh no, he's still going to go for the Brave Blade.
That one just won't die.
Actually, you know what? Okay. What I'm going to do here is it's a good idea to be a bit more defensive this turn. So what we're going to do is put everybody on heal and support. there's a chance that somebody will get taken down by a Mamudon here. Get Ken preemptively on heal and support, and we're going to use a Bomb of Life to get him back into the fight. He's just been taking a little snooze cruise here. Yeah, this is tough on the kid. He's a little tuckered out on this one. Here comes the Mamudon, but again, plenty of homunculi in reserve, if I even need them. Let's see. Akihiko's probably going to go for the diorama, or Diorahan. Hey, nice! That's actually quite helpful for him to have at this stage, so very nice to see that coming out. Dekajaka. That's kind of a funny time for him to decide to use that. It honestly works out for me, too, because that causes Junpei to immediately go into the Maraku Kaja. I think what I'll do at this point is I'm not going to bother getting the buffs back in play. We're just going to knock down, we're going to get this guy knocked down. I got to make sure Akihiko is on the right target. He'll finish this guy off. Let's see, Junpei can just go back to full assault there. Ken can stay on heal and support. Let's get this guy taken care of, and then it's just going to be a matter of whittling down the final snake. Unfortunately, because of the way the turn order has fallen, we can't take advantage of shock on this guy. It's kind of funny that they're going for the fire break there, because they haven't bothered to use their fire skills at all, really.
Way to go, Senpai.
Alright, good stuff. Thank you, Akihiko. Junpei will just be doing his Brave Blade thing here. If we're lucky, he'll get a crit. Brave Blade does have like I think it's like a 20% crit rate. But we're not really anywhere close to guaranteed to seeing it. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll go for knockdown on Junpei. And knockdown on Akihiko. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch over to... actually, this might be... Raphael, is he weak to darkness? Yes, he is weak to darkness. I was considering boosting up the team's attack. What about you? Are you weak to darkness? Or not, and you have Akasha Arts. I don't think spending the HP would be wise. Let's see, what is Siegfried? Is Siegfried weak to darkness in this game? Yes, he is, so, alright, that's off the table. So I'm just trying to think about, like, what's the best way to go about this. They really don't have any great options for these guys. I wonder what their wind resistance is. Norn isn't nearly as strong as our other casters at this point, but hey, Phantom Ray is a different bit of coverage that we have here. This may deal a little bit more damage. No, they're resistant to that as well. Bit unfortunate, that's okay. Honestly, I kind of wish I was hit by that, because that might have inspired Ken to use Media Rahan instead. Junpei put himself in the level. Nope. Yeah, the AI is pretty dumb when it comes to that kind of thing. Let's see. Actually, you know what? I think Abaddon would be a good idea. I can just go for normal swings with Balmung here. Yeah, not terrible damage. It's about on par with Akihiko and his fist boosts on his knuckles there. Yeah, no choice but to do a pretty slow and grindy attempt at this fight, but that's okay. Sometimes you'll get a good turn order where you can just use the shock abuse on every single thing here.
That wasn't good.
Ken, you know, it would be a lot more economical if you just used Media Rahan to heal everybody. Yeah, but he's not gonna clue in that that might be a wise idea. There we go. When you get a heavy swing like that, it helps out quite a bit.
It seems to be guarding this area. Be careful, it's powerful.
One annoying thing we have to contend with this fight is that I don't actually know the full turn order ahead of time like I do in FES, so I can't check to see who is most vulnerable to potentially being hit with shot crit nonsense. So that's just something we're going to have to deal with. I think for this first turn, I just want to figure out what the turn order is, and we'll just pop off with Myriad Arrows, get a little bit of damage tacked on these guys. Myriad Arrows is nowhere near as good as Vorpal Blade, but in this situation, it's probably the best we can hope for. Let's see what Bufala does for us in this fight. Well, at the very least, it deals decent damage. Ooh, this is actually a pretty fortunate turn order here. I might go for some,
Must be eliminated.
what is it? Oh, there goes my fire, nullification. But that's okay, because I actually have fire resistance underneath the nullification. These guys are weak, or resistant to force, or wind magic, so I can just have, Yukari keep us topped off with, Mediarama. So what I'm going to do on this turn is I'm going to shock one of these guys, and I'm actually going to wait until Aegis's turn comes around to pop off with Heat Wave. I can do double Heat Waves to get a bunch of damage out from Aegis. So let's get Odin popped in. Let's Thunder Rain one of these fools. We'll have Mitsuru just use Mabufala like she did the last turn, which deals pretty decent damage to these guys, in spite of the fact that it's only a tier 2 spell. Still works out pretty good for her. Nice to see, nice to see. Get that going, and now we'll be able to throw out 2 Heat Waves to really just lay into these guys with some critical damage. Very nice to see when that comes through. I don't believe you can get the down condition on. No, you can. Okay, so the Dizzy does overwrite that. Ugh. Spirit Drain is so devastating in this game compared to how it is in Persona 3 Vanilla. I was doing a stream recently in Persona 3 Vanilla. I may as well throw up a magic mirror while I'm thinking about it. Oh, actually, this is actually something I didn't get to point out. With Ryoji's music box in Persona 3 Portable, it's actually an infinite use SP restore. Kind of like the Chakra Elixir from Digital Devil Saga and Nocturne. Not huge amount of SP restoration, but it's kind of cool if nothing else. So let's do another double shot crit spam. That one guy who's downed is probably going to die in short order due to the strength of Mitsuru's Mabufala. Even if he doesn't, Aegis will probably finish up with a double tap, and no, he definitely was not surviving that. So let's get the Heat Wave here. If we're lucky, maybe it'll crit both of them, and we can go for an all-out attack to finish. Weren't lucky there, but that's okay. I was, when I was going to my inventory, thinking of throwing up a magic mirror, just to eliminate some of the problems these guys could potentially cause. There goes our buffs, but at this point, that's really not that big a deal. I may as well just have Yukari wing a physical attack at these guys. She can't fall over, so it's not a big deal. And honestly, I think I'll just have Mitsuru go for the physical attack this time. Yeah, there we go. No reason to be fancy with it. We win. Get 3 King of Cups. Very nice, very nice. Alright. What do I want to do to start here? I think the wise thing to do would always err on the side of caution. We'll always start with a Matarunda to make sure these guys don't hit us too badly here. I can also have Mitsuru set up the Marakunda. Let's see. A little bit of that nasty damage onto Aegis there, but that's not too bad. Not a big deal. So long as she doesn't get dizzied, we should be fine there. Like I said, let's go for the Marakunda here. The MC's turn should be coming up, so we should be able to Scarlet Havoc and quickly thin the herd here. And we've got so much more damage at our disposal. Aegis is not gonna be dizzy there. Alright, cool. Now, let's get this cleaned up a little bit. It's so messy in here. Let me take care of you guys. At some point, I'll show off best friends. There we go. Surprised we didn't get the crit there, but that's not the end of the world. Aegis is back in the battle. Let's just have her go... actually, I'm going to go with Akasha Arts, because Akasha Arts has a decent crit rate, and if I don't know if the enemy is vulnerable to Pierce or not, it's probably the safer bet to go for. As you can see, the gimmick of this fight is that he is going to call his minions back. Pierce would indeed be a pretty good option there. What I'm going to go for here is I'm going to fish for a crit with Akihiko using God's Hand. And didn't get lucky there, but that is a-okay. Let's see here. Just go for the Bufudine. We'll start tacking damage on this guy. Once his minions do come back in, we have Electric Spike from Akihiko to take them out. I'm gonna go for... Let's see. I powered up Norn a little bit and slapped a single target boost on her. So we're going to hit him with the Phanta Ray, which should deal some pretty significant damage at this point. I also did fuse a Sibylle, so I've got a light amped Mach Hogan as an option now, and she's also hooked up with Wind Boost and Wind Amp and Spellmaster herself, so she can do some pretty effective Phanta Rays also. We're probably going to see a lot of guys coming back this turn. And indeed, the summons are inbound. I was just about to say, is he only going to summon the one of them? Yeah, if I had gotten a crit earlier, we probably could have finished this fight before the minions were resummoned. But, like I said, Akihiko's got an Electric Spike at his disposal, our buffs are still in play, so we're just going to take these guys down with this. Beautiful damage to see, beautiful damage to see. We're going to go for a Neuro Slash as a wild card pick here, because Mitsuru has a decent chance of scoring a crit on that shocked enemy, particularly with her Ailment Surge. Not that it was really necessary. Good stuff, good stuff.
This shadow is a formidable foe. Its arcana is justice.
You guys ready for more Mudon spam? Because that's what the World Balance brings to us. He also has access to elemental magics and is immune to most physical attacks, so we're just going to want to pop off with our magic skills because he doesn't have any notable resistances there. Let me see. Let's get Akihiko on heal and support, and then I think we should be good with everyone on full assault for this turn. So let's just fire off a Ragnarok and get this underway. I'll probably have Junpei just go for rushes with, oh, here comes the Bukudine. Should have seen that one coming. Probably would have been a good idea to... Oh man, that's actually really unfortunate that Spirit Drain does not cause us to up ourselves. Ooh, that's actually quite helpful there.
Way to go, Senpai!
And that Matarunda, unfortunately because I got knocked on my ass, that means that, let's have Junpei just rush and get the big damage on this guy. Since I got knocked on my ass, that does not mean that means I do not get to, do the all-out attack there. Let's see, they'll probably prompt a Dia Rahan from Akihiko, which would be appreciated. Nope, he's going for the Matarunda, okay. Fine by me, fine by me. Let's see here. Obviously have Junpei go for the rush again. Ah, that's unfortunate. Let's see here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have, I'm actually going to, let's think here. Oh, you know, I just realized if he's vulnerable to shock, nah, he goes after the protagonist, so that's a no-go there. Let me see here. Do I have any bead chains? I kind of don't want to switch off. Yeah, we'll just do bead chains here. I definitely don't want to switch to anything that would be weak to... That works out good for Junpei. Gets him right back on his feet there. Do not want to switch to anything that would be weak to his darkness spells, because that's definitely the thing that makes me a little bit more apprehensive. Alright, so we're going to see our buffs begin to expire here, but conveniently Junpei is in the end of the turn order, so he can get the defense boost back up onto everybody. So let's just have him go on to heal and support. He should help us out pretty good there. I'm going to go for another Ragnarok here. The Spirit Drain that I got hit with earlier was pretty devastating to our longevity here. Here comes another Bukudine, but we got the dodge this time. Ken should be able to deal some pretty good damage with Zeodyne here. And honestly, it might just be worthwhile to have Akihiko. Wait. That's weird. I have in my notes that he's immune to physicals, but I just realized Akihiko punched him earlier. Must be slash attacks that he's immune to. Not that it really matters a huge deal. Anyways, Junpei gets his Spring of Life proc, and then a slap from Leviathan should finish this fight out. Never mind. Well, there goes that. Oh no! Whoop, 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 whoop. Huh, that's weird. Why do I have it in my notes that this guy is immune to physicals? Ooh, that's okay, that's why we saved beforehand. I was just completely lost in my notes here. Like, I have no idea why I have it that he's immune to physicals. I must have been using a pierce weapon, and I guess he's immune to that. Well, regardless, hold on a second.
Here's our chance. Let's get him.
You know how I was saying earlier you should never sleep on your opponents in this game because they can just surprise you and completely manhandle you? Well, that's a good demonstration of that. Unfortunately for the World Balance this time, it got a much, much worse turn order that allows me to exploit criticals against it. Again, I don't know why it's in my notes that this guy is immune to physicals. He is very clearly not immune to physicals. I don't know why I made that mistake there. Looking at all my stuff, he's not even immune to Pierce, so I don't know why I had that. It must have been a weird thing where my allies just were deciding not to attack him for whatever reason. Regardless, with another all-out attack, this guy should be finished off. That was really embarrassing, though. I was just zoned out completely and forgot I was on Rush. Had I just used a Ragnarok on him in the previous attempt, we would have won there. Oh well, these things happen.
This shadow is a formidable foe. Its arcana is justice.
Well, that should pose no problem to me. Unfortunately, he's next in the turn order, so we can't exploit any Thunder Rain crit shenanigans on this guy. I'm gonna scan him. I don't know why I had in my notes that this guy is immune to physicals, because that definitely is not the case. Regardless, let's pop over to Cert. We are, once again, going to have to hope that our weaknesses get struck, because again, the Femsi is the only person who I can't really account for that at this point. That's the nice thing about Norn, and here we go. The Spirit Drain's annoying, but not the end of the world. Yeesh. Very annoying. Let's see here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have, since Aegis can't really do great damage to this guy, may as well make use of Dia Rahan there, why not? Nice thing about this version of the fight is that if I'm knocked down, so long as I don't get hit again for my weakness, I don't have to worry about this guy getting a... Or rather, I don't have to worry about the Femsi losing her turn. I can still just pop off with Ragnarok.
Are you okay?
Speaking of popping off with Ragnarok, let's do so. Another unfortunate thing about lacking Akihiko is that I don't have reliable access to debuff, so there's only so much I can do to mitigate this guy's damage. So yeah, I really don't know why I had that in my notes, that this guy was immune to physicals. There must have been like some sort of confusing thing with the AI, where after I scanned him, he refused to attack him. Or maybe I just miswrote, I meant resistant to physical instead of immune. It was so long ago since I've done the practice playthroughs, it's hard to say. A lot of fights, I will admit, I do get caught off guard by some of the things in the fights, because one, on the practice playthroughs, I was generally a bit higher level, because I was exploring my options a bit more. I'm kind of suffering from a success in that regard in this LP. I'm just hitting these, Ooh, nice, thank you. I'm just hitting these fights with, in such a stronger position compared to how I was, or rather, I got that backwards. I'm hitting them in a weaker position because I understand the fights a lot better. I'm defeating them sooner, so that's kind of causing me to have different loadouts. And sometimes, a lot of the times, honestly, I beat the fight on the first try, so I didn't really get to see the full extent of what the boss was capable of. Just kind of the funny problems you run into while preparing for an LP like this. Oh my goodness. Yukari. We're not gonna have a repeat of what happened in the FES attempt, are we? No, thank you. Okay. Pretty good loadout for this fight, honestly. Worked very well here. Into the battle we go. So, let's see what we got here. We got the Overseer of Creation and Overseer of Creation. Sophie's choice here on who to attack, right? Well, regardless, let's get right into the power howling. I see no reason to delay. Honestly, I could probably also have Ken set up the Divine Intervention for us. But we'll see what these guys are actually capable of when it comes to attacking us. Let's go with the Vile Assault, just because we've got that power charge up there. Not huge damage for Ken, but hey, it's appreciable. Here comes a Makugan, which is a little bit threatening to Koromaru there. Bit unfortunate that they decided to get a defense buff going there. I wonder if I should bother to yeah, it probably would be worth my time to get rid of that, so let's see here. Do I have something with Ma Rakunda? I don't think I do. I've only got Debilitate as a form of debuff purge. That is something that you have to deal with, unfortunately. I'm wondering. You know what? Never mind. Let's just punch through that. We're gonna go with the Scarlet Havoc, and then I can possibly pass it over to Ken if we happen to get a 1 crit. He has Takaya, so he can get rid of the defense buff on these guys. There we go, the critical that I was hoping for. Let's have Ken just purge that defense buff off of these guys, and then Aegis can go in to finish off with her Theurgy. Should deal some pretty good damage, honestly. Alright, you're out of there. And we've got maximum firepower for you.
Defeated here. Good work out there. This is no ordinary enemy. Don't let your guard down.
You've just been full of wisdom with these recent ones, Fuka. But these are Fierce Cyclopes, and they are very, very resistant to anything that is not pierce damage. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to put Akihiko on heal and support. We're going to have Ken go for full assault. We're going to have Junpei on full assault, just to see if there's anything that he can do. But otherwise, we're going to be pretty dependent on the protagonist for damage here, because Skatak's Myriad Arrows is pretty much the only good source of damage we really have against these guys, so that's what we're going to be pretty reliant on. Whenever we see the critical cut-in, well, we know we got a critical, so that is just wonderful to see. Ken's going to go for his Vile Assault here, which is actually pretty appreciated. That's a pretty good amount of damage right there. Akihiko, what are you doing? I put you on heal and support for a reason. Well, regardless, these guys have their own bag of tricks when it comes to physical attacks. They are going to power charge, and they also have access to Vorpal Blade, so something that we're going to want to do here. Nice, Junpei still has Torrent Shot. It is actually possible for Junpei to have forgotten Torrent Shot by this point, which is actually pretty disastrous. So for this turn, we want to go on the defensive. I want to have Siegfried for good physical resistance, specifically Splash Immunity on the protagonist, and we're going to throw up an attack mirror, to ideally bounce either a Primal Force back them, or just protect our party against Vorpal Blade. Needless to say, a power charged Vorpal Blade, pretty devastating to us.
Please help me.
Taking a nice sip of my coffee here. Would have been nice if Akihiko did that on the first turn. Oh well. There they go with their slash attack. Unfortunately, pretty resistant to that. Ooh, that's a disastrous one for Junpei. But that's not the end of the world. Okay, that's another mirror broken, but I'm not overly concerned about that. Akihiko will probably opt to heal up Junpei. Where this fight's going to become a little problematic is when our buffs start to expire. Let me see here. Do I dare take a risk and go into Skatak? I'm gonna take the risk here. The life is no fun without the risk, but what I am going to do is I'm actually going to have Ken just pop off the heal and support for a bit, and we'll have him heal up the party a little bit here. He's more than likely going to use Dirahan on Junpei, but that's okay. Myriad Arrows has a minimum hits of 1 in this version of the game, so it is entirely possible for it to strike out horribly like that. That is actually very, very fortuitous that Aki did that. Here comes the Vorpal Blade, as what we were trying to save up for. It's actually very fortuitous that Akihiko elected to do the ah man, my brain's going down here. The Mataruna there to bring their attack into something that's a bit more manageable. I'm going to switch over to Siegfried again and set up another attack mirror. Remember, those attack mirrors are no good if we don't use them, so it's a good idea to keep them in the back pocket. We're also going to put Ken back on full assault here. He'll likely just whack them with Gungnir, which is exactly what I want him to do. Then we're going to have Junpei set up Marakukaja for us. Not really worth our time to set up any more buffs after that. We can get by just fine with Marakunda and any other buff that Akihiko is setting up for us. But keeping their damage in orbit is very, very important. The crit here is very, very good from Ken. That takes out one of them, so that's one less enemy for us to have to deal with, which I am all the more thankful for. If Akihiko can get Masakunda up here, which he's finally learned that, so now he has entered his true final form as the go-to debuff bot of Persona 3. Get those slash attacks bounced back at these guys. There we go. We're fine. We're fine. Their power charges are exhausted now, so we don't have to worry about those causing us any trouble. Just thinking here. I don't want my HP to be too low, but I think we should be fine. I'm going to go for another Myriad Arrows here, so let's just go in for that. Bring Skatak back out. Should I have Ken heal? I think it would be wise to have Ken go on heal support, though. So we'll have him do so. Obviously have Junpei go back on the full assault. If he's learned Vorpal Blade at this point, he won't have access to Torrent Shot anymore, which is pretty devastating for him in this fight, as you can imagine. Really is not great that he has no good damage dealing options. You could try to take these guys down a peg by breaking them, but one thing that I haven't mentioned about the break line of spells, this is kind of a sneaky and annoying thing that the game does, that it doesn't tell you about a lot of time, is that some enemies will actually have resist skills in their skill slot. That mean that even if you break their immunities, they're still resistant to physical skills, which is, or rather the relevant skill you're trying to break them to. Not every boss, but quite a few, and it is, as you can imagine, pretty obnoxious. With that healing in place, I think we're fine here, so let's have Ken do that. We're gonna go for another Myriad Arrows here. If I can get a crit, that would be just wonderful. Yes! Every crit we get makes this fight go so much faster. Vile Assault from Ken does pretty excellent damage in this fight, so that's a great way for him to help out. Akihiko, there are debuffs that you could put into effect. Oh boy. Yeah, sometimes Akihiko doesn't make the best decisions. That's a pretty big problem with heal and support spells being under the same umbrella. just thinking about what I want to do here. I think I'll have Ken. Ooh, nice. Very lucky there. Actually, hold on. What does Skatak have? Does she have healing? No, she doesn't. But I think what I'll do here, actually, is I'm going to heal up my own team. I'm going to have Raphael, he has maybe a Rahan, right? Yes. I just want to actually make sure of that. I have had it happen before where I thought a persona had a particular skill, then I switched to it, and I am disappointed to find out it does not. Let's go for the maybe a Rahan here. There we go. Take care of the healing there so Ken doesn't do anything overly foolish, and also prevents Akihiko from doing things that are foolish and undesirable. Alright, all their debuffs are beginning to expire, causing a few problems for us, but we should be able to manage at this point. Junpei's defense buff is also going down, so that's a little unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Alright, what we're going to do here is we are going to... Actually, you know what? I'm going to buff up Ken's attack here. This guy's still got quite a lot of HP left. Oh, whoops, I forgot to put Junpei onto heal support. That might mean we have a little bit of nasty damage coming our way, but it shouldn't be anything we can't handle. Marakunda coming out from Akihiko should make this fight go just that much faster. If you have anything with Primal Force, it goes without saying that that is pretty helpful here. I think what I'll do here is just throw up another attack here. Hey, it's not really wasteful at this point. We really have no other reason but these kind of situations to use them. That allows me to keep up the offense here, and let Akihiko just focus on continually debuffing the enemy. Ken's spear attacks are quite powerful at this point. Masakunda coming in. If we're lucky, this guy will use Vorpal Blade and just take himself out. Nah, not that lucky, but it wasn't something I was banking on anyway. Junpei's Torrent Shot might actually finish this guy off. Not quite, but hey, I always love to... Actually, you know what? No, let's let Ken get it. Go for it, kiddo. There we go. Not bad, not bad. Pretty slow, but we handled that well, I think.
This is no ordinary enemy. Don't let your guard down.
Anyways, we don't have Akihiko's debuffs to assist us in keeping the damage on these guys low, but I can also free up the Femc's turn for using attack mirrors, or rather, always going with Myriad Arrows with the Femc, because I don't need to have her specifically use the attack mirrors. Let's see, I'll just have Yukari and Aigus chip away at one enemy. Aigus, of course, has defense for days, so she's not super threatened by... Oh, nice! That's very, very fortunate right there. Let's see here. Yeah, Mitsuru really can't do too much to these guys, so I think what I'll do is I'll just have Mitsuru function as like an off healer here. It's gonna be very nice once we get around to Aigus's turn and we can wail on that downed Cyclops real quick. Deal some very nice damage there. Excellent stuff to see. Now, Vorpal Blade is a little scary, because if it crits, that can quickly spiral into immediate game over. I'm having really bad luck with Myriad Arrows, actually. Gonna need Yukari to get some multi-targeted healing going up here. I will say, I'm noticing that these guys hit quite a bit harder with the Vorpal Blades here. Let's see, that guy's getting up. And of course, because this is Persona 3 Portable, they don't lose any action economy off of that. I'm actually going to have Mitsuru here use a attack mirror to give us a little bit of protection. We've got plenty to throw up every single time a Vorpal Blade is thrown our way. And while they do heavily resist slash attacks, having the Vorpal Blade bounce back at them still will deal some pretty nice damage. Okay, that guy's going for the power charge, which I am not overly threatened by. Let's go for the Myriad Arrows here. Maybe I should have given Yukari the drop near just to make sure her Mei dioramas were a bit more potent. If I were to redo my setup, which, you know, very real possibility I'll have to do that because I could potentially lose here. Alright, that guy just bouncing it right back at himself. Vorpal Blade coming out, huge bit of damage coming out to that guy. Going to have Mitsuru throw up the attack mirror here, make sure we don't get annihilated by that power charge Vorpal Blade, if the enemy even uses one. Let's keep up the offense on this guy. Okay, he decided to waste his power charge. So our buffs are starting to expire here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to have the Femc guard here. Let's see, Yukari. I'm going to have Yukari do... let me look at my items, actually. Yeah, I can use these Megadalown gems to get a little bit of reliable damage out here. There we go. I'm guarding with the Femc just because I want to be absolutely sure she doesn't get double tapped with 2 physical attacks while our buffs are expired. I'm actually going to have Mitsuru also do the same thing there. These Megadolon gems in our inventory, no good if we don't use them. 200 guaranteed damage, very nice to see. Okay. Now, we're going to have Aegis get Ma Rakukaja up on the party. And this is what's very nice about having Aegis as an anchor, which doesn't matter for this fight because we get random turn order. But in story battles, having Aegis as the anchor, Ma Rakukaja is going to expire on her first. And she's not terribly affected by that because she has the strongest defense anyway. So we're perfectly fine to just get that back up on our party once their turns roll back around and the buff expires. I'm explaining this a little poorly, but basically only Aegis ever has to suffer lower defense, and she has the highest defense naturally anyway, so it's not a big deal. Okay, definitely want to get another attack mirror up here. We're out of Megadolon gems anyway, so going back to more conventional offense. I think what I'll do is I'll actually have Aegis set up Ma Tarukaja on us as well. Make Myriad Arrows a little bit stronger once it comes back around to the Femc's turn. It's nice to have all the buffs on her now, so if I wanted to, I could just have her be a standard buff bot, and again, kind of exploit that thing where she's the only one who really has to suffer the expiry of the buffs. At least when it comes to accuracy and evasion and defense. Ooh, nice. Very, very good. Let's us finish off in style here. Would have been nice if I got that sooner. And we'll finish off with shooting with Yukari. There we go. Not the best I've ever had that fight go, but went well enough. Oh well. Isn't that part of my charm? No? Well, okay. I'll just have to deal with that. Anyways, power howling immediately. Really no reason not to. It's just a good idea to get it set up. One of the downsides of not bringing Mitsuru along is I don't have consistent access to multi-targeting debuffs or defense debuffs for the enemies. That Spirit Drain is a little rude, I gotta say. Anyways, going for God's Hand here. Ooh, are they weak or is that just a lucky crit? They are indeed weak. Oh, that's a GG for these guys. This is going to be going pretty badly for them. Akasha Arts coming out, dealing pretty significant damage. Especially if we get the double hit. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Excellent work, I guess. I guess we'll go for a Primal Force on it. The charge has been exhausted, so it's not going to be as significant damage, but it's still damage. I should have Aegis also heal herself with Dirahan. Nice little niche option that she has there. Let's see, this guy is resistant to all this stuff. Do I want to go for the Brave Blade just for the heck of it? Or the Scarlet Havoc? Yeah, we're kind of doing great here, so I kind of want to save that for the next fight. Let me see. He is not resistant to Pierce skills, so I actually can do some pretty significant damage with that. We've got Bishamonten here. As you can see, he's got his Pierce boost and Pierce Am. Lacking single target boost, but this should still deal some pretty significant damage. Nice. Gotta love it, gotta love it. I certainly love to see it. Ah, I could have gone for the Brave Blade there. Oh well. Let's go for Getsue. Allow Koromaru to benefit from his own little damage boost there. Not too significant because Getsue is a pretty outdated skill. He's going to deal some pretty heavy damage to Koromaru, unless he dodges, of course. That works out pretty well for him. Let's see, Zeodyne should work just fine. Sadly, we don't have any concentrate boost there, but that's okay. Let's go for the Primal Force to finish this guy off. We should get a crit on this. Yes. Not too bad, not too bad. And it's another really big dude. So we don't really have our full attacking options available to us this time, so we're just going to wing attacks at this guy and see what we can land. He has a little resistance to the physical skills, perhaps unsurprisingly. I'm actually going to go around to debilitate this guy, and I want to hit him with a full-powered electric onslaught. Okay, so God's Hand is on the outs anyway, so I guess a little threatened by that. But, ooh, that's unfortunate. We're actually going to want to get rid of that, because that'll dismantle my plans if I let it stay in place. There we go. See? No problem, no problem. Let me see here. I've actually got several Debilitate users here now, but I think the best one to use would actually be Barong, since he can nullify those elect skills. Take that out as a problem for me. There we go. This guy should be pretty vulnerable now. I'm just going to have Koromaru use a multi-targeting healing item. Let me see here. I've got so many items now. We'll just go for this first aid kit medium. A little bit of HP to everyone to make sure we're in full condition. And in case this guy pulls out anything nasty, Electric Onslaught is going to do some incredible damage now. Let's take a look at it. Boom. If we can get Concentrate onto him from Fuka, that'll be so much the better. Ooh, that is unfortunate. And he Heat Risered off his Debilitate debuff. How rude, how rude. Let's scan this guy and see if Aegis can't do anything to this guy. She cannot, so what we're going to do instead is we're just going to have her keep our buffs refreshed. May as well make sure they're going strong. Let's see, this guy is going to be immune to Electorate. Oh, surprisingly, no, he is not. Let me see here. I think the smart thing to do would just be to go for the strongest attacking option that we have, which, as always, is Scarlet Havoc. So we're going to delete this guy with this, hopefully. If we're lucky, we might get a crit on this, but I don't bank on that happening. Even at its highest, it's still pretty close to a coin flip, and yeah, we didn't really get it there. But a Maragi Dyne from Koromaru should tap this guy in range for Akihiko to finish him off with a fully boosted Zeodyne. So let's just nail him with this. And there we go. Surprisingly not that much stronger than Koromaru's Maragi Dyne. Some of these guys are defensively pretty potent.
The Hanged Man. That's this Guardian's Arcana.
Huh, just like the final full moon shadow. Anyways, this guy is really infamous, the Jotun of Grief. This guy drains everything except pierce damage. Need I remind you that your Pierce users are, your dedicated Pierce users in this game are the weakest physical attackers in the game. Junpei could potentially have leveled out his only Pierce skill, so that's an annoying thing, and it's a problem in Portable as well, because that game still uses the automatic overwrite system for upgraded skills, so Junpei could potentially have no Pierce skills, and Pierce skills are just kind of undercooked in this game. They tend to just be flatly weaker in FES and Portable. You could potentially have something with Primal Force or Vile Assault, but it's not exactly a priority for the protagonist, and in Portable it's an even bigger problem because the protagonist cannot switch out of a slash-type weapon, so really annoying boss. However, it does not have resistance underneath those drains, so this is one of the few times where you can use an elemental break to deal with this boss. What I want to do is have Akihiko on heal and support, and Ken and Junpei will be on full assault. I did get the scan going, right? Just better make sure. We're going to fire break it. I'm going to pop off against it with Cert, and then I'm going to rely on Ken and Junpei to deal additional damage to it. Akihiko is just going to be here for debuff botting, probably the occasional Diarahan too. Now this guy also has access to Infuriate, to enrage your entire party. And that's why I don't have Tome of the Voids on Junpei and Ken, because the way this fight works, it can actually be beneficial for them to be enraged. In FES and Portable, the enraged status, in addition to putting you in a berserk state that causes you to take more damage, it doubles the power of your physical attacks and causes you to act twice. This actually makes it pretty bad to use in your own hands, but sometimes you can actually swing it to your own benefit. Where is Cert? There he is. Anyways, with the fire break in effect, we're able to just pop off with Ragnaroks on this guy, deal really big damage, and get through him a lot faster than having to have Ken just whack him with his spear every single turn. Akihiko getting that Matarunda in will also be incredibly beneficial for us, and of course, Junpei will just enjoy the ability to hack away at this guy with Leviathan. Honestly, between him and Ken, I'll probably stick to having them do the damage once our buffs start to expire, because I'll be able to easily keep on top of the team's healing needs here. Infuriate is not a guaranteed thing that we're going to have to deal with. It is entirely possible he's not going to use it, and that is just a little bit of a... there comes the stagnant air, so he's probably priming himself to use that. But it's, again, not a really big deal. The big problem could come in if he gets to act when fire break expires, which that's going to be coming up this turn. So I'm actually going to err on the side of caution here and have Junpei go into heal and support so that he doesn't potentially screw us over. I'm also going to switch over to, let me see here. Just want to make sure Raphael is not vulnerable to Pierce. I didn't think he was, but it's always a good idea to double check that kind of thing before you just switch off of it blithely. I'm going to Meidia Rahan the party here. Once it comes back around to Junpei's turn, he may cast Madaraku Kaja on everyone. I think Akihiko will be denied that buff just due to... Oh, no, wait, he'll get it. It's Ken who's going to be denied it, which isn't a big deal, but that's fine. So what's he going to do here? Yep, there goes the fire affinity. Oh, he's going for Make It Alone instead. That's fine, that's fine. That is within parameters. Alrighty, Junpei, get that Madaraku Kaja going on, everyone, and we should be fine to go. Amazing. I'm just wondering if I should have Ken do a bit of healing for everyone, because I want to get the fire break back up to make sure that Junpei is going to be able to keep up on damage here. Ken will still get his attack off. There we go, nice little pierce attack. Let's have Junpei go back to full assault here. We are going to set up our fire break once again, so I'll want to switch over to Seth for this. Kind of annoying that he isn't actually going for the Infuriate right now. I actually would have appreciated it if he did that. But fire break in place, and then some additional follow-up swings from Leviathan. We should be good to go. Ken is probably going to have to take a slightly heavier hit here. Yeah, but he should be in good standing to survive it. Oh, Akihiko actually died. I wasn't expecting that. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay. That is not a big deal, though. We can manage around that. What we're going to do is have Ken go over to heal and support, and we are going to switch back to Raphael, get the Meidia Rahan up. I am a little bit underleveled for this fight. I'm on a bit of a time crunch when I'm recording this segment today, so I had to skip through some floors. I would probably be like 2 to 3 levels higher if I was playing this my own way casually. Okay, ailment susceptibility is reverted, that is fine. Did I set Ken to heal and support like I was supposed to? I don't think I did. Not that it really matters a huge deal. I did, but unfortunately, he got whacked too hard. He's not going to help out Akihiko there. While the fire is still in effect, the fire break, let's switch over to Sir. We're just going to have to deny Akihiko the glory of participating in the victory of this fight. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. It be like that sometimes. It be like that. There we go. Not the cleanest I've ever had that fight go. I was actually kind of surprised by Akihiko getting taken out there, but it happens sometimes. Get a nice bit of experience and a fine statuette.
The Hanged Man. That's this Guardian's Arcana.
Alright, like before, I've got Seth here so I can set up the fire break, then pop off a little bit with, Cert. And I'm also going to have Mitsuru set up her Ice Break so she can deal damage with Bufadine. Again, she's going to be, here, see, this is exactly what I was talking about. We don't have to worry about that on Mitsuru and the Femsi, but Yukari and I get to get hit by that, and this guy is going to, unfortunately, regret his actions and deeds here. This is, not working out very well for him. Let's get that Ice Break set up with Mitsuru, and then we can start contributing damage with the Femsi and her. Now, Aegis and Yukari, despite the fact... No, I don't want to. That's actually gonna be a bad thing. They are going to have considerably lower defense to contend with because of this, but it's really not something I'm overly concerned about. If they get taken out, they get taken out. And honestly, if he spends his time trying to infuriate people who are immune to it, so much the better. Oh yeah, you're doing work, Yukari. And people think Yukari is a bad physical attacker. Well, she is, but when the stars line up, jeez, her attacks aren't actually that much weaker than Aegis's. Aegis genuinely has really bad strength for a physical attacker in the older Persona games. It's kinda sad, honestly. Regardless, this guy has given me just about the ideal pattern thus far. Primal Force on Aegis. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, that could have potentially been a problem there. Sadly, the Enraged status has gone away, so not going to be able to enjoy that anymore. Boy, I wonder if there's any other fights where we can abuse Rage to deal big damage to the boss. Akihiko, you have strange ideas of what constitutes fun. Regardless, this is just a singular enemy, so as always, we're just waiting for the MC's slow ass to go so we can debilitate it. That is always going to annoy me, especially, you know, just compared to every other version of the game. The protagonist almost always goes first. Let's see, make it allowed? Not anything I'm too threatened by, honestly. Particularly since I've got the defense boost up. You know, I could also just dodge it altogether. It's chanting his death spell, but I'm not too worried about that. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for the Primal Force here. I consider doing some healing, but if I weaken this guy enough, we shouldn't really need to worry about that at all. So obviously, let's get the Debilitate going. I just want to be on whoever has the best endurance, which would be Futsunushi. I kind of figured that. Futsunushi is good to have because he also has all the buffs in case I want to get the protagonist in on getting the party back up to snuff here. Let me see. I'm actually going to have Koromaru use a healing item on the party here, so let's get down here and use our Akike special. Pretty useful option for Koromaru. I've also got Koromaru hooked up with the Amriti necklace, so he is immune to ailments. It helps because he's going to be going in first in the turn order most of the time, so it'll allow him to, if the boss goes before him, he'll be able to cure everybody before we have any problems with that. Let's go with the God's Hand here, see if we get lucky with the crit. No luck on the crit, but that is a-okay. Here comes a Mamudon, so we're probably about to see a bunch of homunculi get consumed. Ooh, that was unfortunate. That's fine, though. That's fine, though. That is manageable. Akihiko survived that because he had Endure at his disposal. I gave him a piece of equipment that has Endure on it. I think what we'll do here is we'll just go all in on finishing it off with attacks. I think I can just defeat it with Siegfried at this point. Not even using... Siegfried is also vulnerable to Mamudon. Not even using Scarlet Havoc, just taking it out with Brave Blade. Okay, maybe not. I was a little optimistic there. But 8 gets away from Koromaru will seal the deal for us. There we go. Not bad.
Not about desert. No shadows detected. The analysis.
We've got Hedonistic Sinners here. I'm thinking about how I want to approach this. You know what? Let's go for a Revolution. It's a nice little option, and Akihiko might be able to do something cool with it. I am actually planning on keeping Revolution into Koromaru's skill list. Alright, we've got ailments to deal with, so that's going to be interesting. Fortunately, I guess... Ooh, this might have already paid off for us. Yes, indeed. Now we're going to pass it over to the Protag, because obviously Siegfried can do some good work with criticals as well. Go for the Deathbound here. Ah, unfortunate. Luckily, Siegfried does not get high on his own supply. Now this looks scary, but one value of having Aegis, she has insta-heal, so ailments are actually of no threat to her. She just immediately shrugs them off. Very, very nice thing about using Aegis. Don't have to worry about her getting taken down by that at all. Fortunately, I have a variety of options when it comes to critting enemies down with physical skills. We also have the God's Hand at our disposal. There we go. Let's get a scan on these guys and see what we're dealing with. Yeah, they're not really vulnerable to anything. In fact, quite the opposite. Let's see here. We're gonna have Koromaru just throw items at people, so let's use up that antibiotic gel on the Protag. It'll be a good way to blunt the healing or blunt the damage that we're gonna be taking from these guys. We will have to occasionally deal with Akihiko possibly getting nailed with an ailment. Good dodge from Aegis there. Always fortunate when that happens. Let's go for the God Hands yet again. Hey, nice! Working out for Akihiko. Beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. Let's see, these guys repel Pierce as well, so for Aegis, we're going to want to go with Akasha Arts. We'll shift on over to her and do the Akasha Arts. I have given Aegis a accessory that gives her shift boost, so she gets a little bit more damage there. Had pretty bad luck on that one, though. Another Maziodyne coming out. And a dodge for Aegis. Beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. Kind of funny that Koromaru is the one getting hit there, because he has way more evasion than Aegis. Let's see here. We're going to go for another Akasha Arts. If we're lucky, we'll get a crit. We have double the chance of getting a crit by using Akasha Arts. Wonderful stuff, wonderful stuff. Let's pass it over to the protagonist, who probably has a better crit rate than Akihiko on the whole, so we'll have him fish for it. Nice! That is exactly what I was hoping for. Let me see, you know what? Let's throw it on back to Akihiko. Get this chain continued. Have him go for the God's Hand now. Probably would have been better to just have the protagonist keep up the offense there, but it was fun to give Akihiko some floor time. Hey! Woohoo! You know what? Let's go for it. Screw it, we ball. Yes, got him. Granted, that wasn't as perilous a situation as it looks. The protagonist has Enduring Soul on his equipment now, and Akihiko has access to Endure from his armor, so they were all fine there regardless of what the boss did. That was an interesting little camera effect there. Anyways, we may as well pop off immediately with Oracle and see what we can do against this guy. And that was probably the most useless thing you could have done in that situation, Fuka, but it's okay, you tried. Anyways, like I said, we can now start with Debilitate, which is very nice. I appreciate having that as an option. Let me see here. I honestly forget if this guy... Yeah, I think he uses the same gimmick, honestly. Once again, I'm not actually concerned about that. If Aegis or Koromaru goes after this guy, we're able to completely shut down these ailments now. It's pretty nice. We essentially have 2 ailment-immune characters at our disposal here. We will use the refresh pack here. And yeah, nothing to it, nothing to it. So, you know what? Let's, let me see here. Just in case I'm hitting into a reflect there. I'm actually going to have the protagonist card. Let's figure out what this guy's gimmick is before I commit to anything. Alright, and okay, it's not quite the same thing. Slash attacks work on him. So, yeah, we have plenty of options at our disposal. Why don't we go for a nice power howling? We're just going to uncork our best stuff against this guy. Mostly our pierce skills, but we have other options at our disposal as well. Unfortunately, Akihiko cannot use God's Hand on this guy, but Zeodyne's from... Oh, whoops, he can't use Zeodyne either. Akihiko's completely walled out. Oh, well, these things happen. Sometimes the poor guy, you know, he just doesn't get what he's hoping for. Okay, this guy does not exactly have great options at his disposal either, so we should have this on lock, honestly. Just, whack him down with that, and we'll have the protagonist do much the same. Switch over to Bishamonten, and get another Primal Force going. This is nice, because I'll be able to save my Theurgies for the upcoming Monad passage. Let's see here, Maragidyne should work just fine on this guy. We'll want to make sure to re-up our buffs and debuffs as our turns go back around. Let's see here. Yeah, everything, oh right, Fuka doubled them at the start of the fight, so I don't actually have to worry about that for a while. Let's go for... I don't really have any other options, so just for the interest of Akihiko not sitting around doing nothing, let's do the Electric Onslaught. His Theurgy recharges really, really fast, because we're always going to have buffs up now, so why not just go for it? Finish him off. Remember that Electric Onslaught is a magic skill, so it only... gets a double damage from a concentrate buff.
Another day on the job.
Alright, the Hallowed Turret here. As always, we can open up with Debilitate. It is so satisfying to be able to do that. I love it. It's just a great feeling. Coming out is the Myriad Arrows. And, yeah, I don't think that exactly got what the guy was hoping for. Looks like he's loaded 2 bullets there, so we better be prepared for whatever he's about to throw our way. We should be able to beat this guy without throwing any Theurgies at him, though it remains to be seen if Aegis has any option she can work here. Actually, yes, she does. Alright, that works out just fine. Let me see here. I think what I'll do is I'll stick to Norn for damaging this guy to start. We'll go with the powerful Phanta Rays that we have at our disposal. Should deal some pretty excellent damage, all things considered. Alright. And let's get the scan here. Yeah, it's not weak to anything. Wasn't expecting it to be, but it is good to know ahead of time that we can hit it with a God's Hand. Let's get everybody healed up just a little bit. Use this Konosubi water. May as well use the most potent healing items I have at my disposal, since Koromaru doesn't really have as many other options. He's not really a dedicated healer. Come on, Koromaru, dodge. Ah, unfortunate. But he didn't really get anything against Akihiko. He's loaded 3 bullets, so it looks like he's going to be rotating through more and more attacking options as the battle goes on. Okay, got that. Let's have Aegis go for a Primal Force here. And once again, we can just nail it with Phanta Ray for some pretty significant damage, though I want to be careful about what gets thrown my way here. Actually, you know what? I don't want a redundant weakness with Aegis, so what we're going to do here is we are going to switch over to... Yeah, I think Suzaku would work good here. We're going to go with the Agidine on it. Not as powerful as Fantaray, and also as I hit into a resistance, because I forgot that. That was a bit of a mistake there. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to... Let me see here. We should have a couple of these kicking around still. Yes, a Magic Mirror on the protagonist. The only person I care about if he gets taken down, so good way to just give us a catch-all cover on his weakness. Oh, hey, you know what? That actually works out for me. I'm not too pressed about that. He goes for Heat Riser. And he goes for Charge. That's fine. None of that really bothers me. He's got 4 bullets loaded, so he's got some pretty strong stuff coming up. What we're going to do here is, as you can see, the way I've got my team set up now, we can actually do a full round of buffs and debuffs on us, so we are able to just get everything restored that he did to us there. And we can hit him with the Debilitate again. That Debilitate was about to clear anyway, so now we switch over to you and get the Mataru Kaja up. And then we debilitate him to just completely gimp what he was about to do. There goes Koromaru's Auto Rebellion. And debilitated. There we go. Primal Force coming out. But it just completely whiffs. And he lost access to his charge there. So I'm guessing he's about to load 5 bullets now. Would have been nice if he winged that at Aegis, but not a big deal. Oh, I guess his pattern just resets at that point. Well, that works out quite nicely for us. Now we can just wail on him. There we go. Good stuff, good stuff. Let's go for a Primal Force here. And we will go for... Let's see, Phanta Ray again is just the most consistent. Actually, you know what? No, let's go for Primal Force here. Just because that's the chance to crit. That's always a valuable thing to have. And we will use a bead on Akihiko. Get him back up into a condition where he can fire off more God's Hands. Turret is out of bullets. Nice! So we've just completely stuffed this guy. He's got nothing else to use. Now we can just leisurely wail on him. Feels good, feels good. Another Primal Force coming out. Didn't have to use any Theurgies, so I've got them stored up for the next fight.
Good job, everyone.
Alright, what can we get off this shuffle time? We'll go with the money. And, you know what, yeah, we'll take the Medea Rahan card. I don't really need it at this point, but it is there as an option. Feels unfair that it could get in so many shots at once, but I guess we shouldn't expect the enemy to fight fair and square. They're doing all they can to take us down. We can't let them have their way, so you've got my full support. Fuka, we're fighting them 4-on-1 most of the time. There might be a treasure chest up ahead, but I sense an enemy presence there too. If you're worn out from battling, don't push yourself too hard. Take some time to recuperate. Nah, we're continuing. I'm not falling for that one again, Fuka. Okay. Let's auto-recover yet again. Actually, I do need to keep an eye on the protagonist SP here, because we're not going to have those consistent procs for Life Aid, so we want to make sure everybody has relatively good SP going into the preceding battles, because we're going to be casting a lot of buffs, a lot of debuffs, burning through our SP pretty quickly, particularly if I'm using things like Phanta Ray, so just want to keep that option in mind. Continuing on to the next fight. What do we got going for us in this one? Looks like the Way of the Samurai.
Powerful enemy spotted. Please be careful.
I'm good to go, Fuka. Let's get this fight underway. Koromaru does not like Samurai. He's not a fan, not a fan. Oh wow, that was 4 of you guys. Okay. That was a little bit unexpected. That does mean my Debilitate is kinda underwhelming here. What we're gonna do here then, let's see. Unfortunately, we do not have a Power Howling prepped, so that is not an option. But what we can do is use an Atrophying Sutra, which works just about as well. Okay. And we're going to actually have Akihiko use his Lightning Spike here. Unfortunately, I've gotten rid of Shock Boost on him, so not super likely that any of these guys are going to get shocked. Oh, one of them actually did. It's going for the Heat Riser there. Okay. Do they all buff each other up? Well, regardless, let's go for the Myriad Arrows here. See if we can't get a crit. And yes, we did. Yes, we did. You know what? We've got so many guys here, it's probably just prudent to go for the Scarlet Havoc. Make sure we do as much damage as possible to these guys. Get most of them taken out before they can become a problem to us. There we go. Awesome. You know what? We seldom use all-out attacks in boss fights, so why don't we? Let's just give these guys a quick beat down. That was tough. The sight of 4 samurai in full armor is really intimidating. Did you spot slight variations in their helms? Maybe Mr. Ono knows why they're different, since history's his field and all. Then again, he might just go on and on and on, until the shadows would eventually die from boredom. Hey, that's an option. Well, let's keep going. There's still another powerful shadow up ahead. There might be treasure chest up ahead too, but I sense an enemy presence. If you're worn out from battling, no, we're not returning. I always gotta remember, she's trying to trick me there. Fuka is trying to make me make a foolish decision. But I will not be had, I will not be had. You can't trick me twice. Okay, maybe you can trick me a couple times, but not in this situation are you gonna fool me. Sword for Junpei there, which is pretty nice to have. We're not gonna have the protagonist's theurgy ready into this next battle, but that shouldn't be a big deal. Hey, that guy looks familiar. Huh. Well, looks like we've got a more interesting fight coming up here.
Powerful enemy spotted. Please be careful.
I'm ready as I'll ever be. Once again, gotta get in one more for the road. Looks like this will be interesting. Let's go. Well, last time I fought this guy, I had Takaya at my side. It didn't go super well, but it didn't go as horrible as my first playthrough, where I got absolutely decimated. But you can't actually die in that fight. It's a scripted battle where Takaya takes over if you're getting beat too badly. Let's go for a God's Hand here. Okay, and what's this guy gonna try on us? Poison Mist. Not too threatened by that. We've got plenty of status restores at this point. Aegis immediately recovers from it, so it's just nothing to her. Got these, let's see, Dr. and Jellies, where is my... There we go, the Vita G bottles. We'll just use that to get everybody back in fighting form. Nothing to it, nothing to it. We're all good there. Let me see here. I'm going to go for a charge on the Pro Tag. If we're able to, do good physical damage to this guy, it would be appreciated. Let's see, Shadow of the Void is not weak to anything, so we just gotta go with our best stuff. As you can see, he recharges his HP every turn, so we need to keep up some pretty consistent damage on this guy if we want to take him down. We'll get another God's Hand going. Mostly what we're trying to do is just build up our theurgies and pop off at the best way possible. Mabufudyne coming out. Akihiko does have good evasion against these. Yes! He's more than capable of dealing with that. What I'm gonna do is, I'm actually going to hold off on having Aegis use her theurgy, because as you can see, Koromaru's is about to charge, and we can do something pretty good with his. No crit there, which is a bit unfortunate. Ah, man. I was hoping it would charge this turn. Well, that at least gives me an opportunity to use an Akihiko special. If I can get a crit with Akihiko, which is, you know, I'm kind of just being hopeful that I get one there. If I do get it, though, I can pass it back to Koromaru, get the power howling off, and likely finish this guy with Aegis's theurgy. Another Mabufudyne coming out. Another dodge from Akihiko. With his buff amp, he is very evasive when under the effects of Sukukaja, which has helped even more because, again, I've got a piece of equipment that gives him extra evasion. Not going to bother charging this turn because Koromaru is going to be able to power howling us. Oh, whoops, all our buffs are expiring. Alright, we're going to have to slow our roll a little bit. We want to make sure we're in full condition to deal with this guy. So let's get his stat drops extended. And let's start putting all our buffs and buffs back in effect. And we can finish him off with Power Howling next turn. Okay. Looks like, he's going for healing on himself. That's okay, that's okay. We can just chunk through him, no problem. What we're going to do here is get all our buffs back up. There we go. And then Protagonist can boost everybody's defense. Yeah, this should be... Actually, no, you're weak to ice. We'll go for Futsunushi here. Get the Rakukaja. Now it's time to Power Howling and show this guy what we're really capable of. Here we go. Get us all ready to go, Koromaru. I think in my first playthrough, I came into this with all my theurgies ready, so I just completely bopped this guy before he could do anything. Let's get the God's Hand going here. Come on, crit, 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 yes! Oh, beautiful. Akihiko, you are my main man, and it's time for Aigis to finish this off in style. Maximum firepower, here we go. Ooh, just a little bit short there, but we've got more than enough to deal with this guy. As a matter of fact, maybe I can just ignore this poison? Nah, we'll cure the poison, and let the protagonist finish it off with a cool Brave Blade. Yeah, we got actually pretty bad luck in this fight. We didn't get any crits, really, so... until Akihiko got his, so... Not quite the battle I was hoping for. This could have gone so much faster if Siegfried crit the first time, but that's okay.
This is it. I ain't holding back.
As is standard for the LP thus far, I see no reason to deviate from this. We're going to be starting off with the FES version of the fight. And Jin is a really difficult boss fight this go-around. He's got a lot going for him. He's not really going to be taken down with conventional tactics, and you have to think really hard about how you want to approach this fight. Any mistake you make could result in disaster. Anyway, here's Ken going in for the guaranteed critical. This will set us up for an all-out attack that should deal some pretty stellar damage, I think.
You think you're tough? I won't lose this time.
I admire his defiance in the face of the absolute pain that is about to be unleashed on him. Yeah, it's
No, I ain't finished yet. Come on.
Ain't looking too good for you, Haas. I'm gonna be honest with you here. Oh, whoops, Akihiko is actually not functioning the way that he was supposed to. I can now tell that he was definitely giving me he was purposely being bad in the Reaper fight. Regardless, Junpei comes in with some pretty good damage there, and we're able to finish this guy off with yet another all-out attack. There we go.
This is it. I ain't holding back.
Alright, I'm not even going to, just bother with, the pretenses here in Portable. We're just going to run the same strategy against Jin here. He's not gonna do particularly well against it. I mean, he's going to try his hardest as he can try, with, immediately being knocked on his back.
You think you're tough? I won't lose this time.
I honestly really admire his ability to, talk smack in that situation. I mean, he's just got the four maids stomping on him repeatedly.
No, I ain't finished yet. Come on.
Yeah, I just really appreciate the attitude he has here. You know, he's got a winner's attitude, if nothing else, and you can respect that. I can also respect the amount of punishment that he's taking here. I mean, look at this.
Damn it! I lost to these amateurs again!
For sure. Anyways, you're about to get shot in the face by Aigis.
I won't miss.
Ah!
However it turns out, this is the end. I'm going all out.
And here we are with Jin in Reload, and like the previous version of the game, his strategy of going 1 against 8, although I guess to be honorable, we're going 4-on-1 here, isn't going to work out so great for him, though he does perform a bit better than he does in FES and Portable, if nothing else, which honestly, I don't really... I kind of like how Strega aren't really that big a deal in the earlier versions of the game. It kind of makes sense that, you know, they're just so understaffed and working by themselves against the core group here. They really don't realistically stand a chance, so it makes sense that we're just able to completely dominate them in any encounter that we get into with them. Regardless, let's just get our stuff set up here. Of course, we've got access to our Debilitate to make Jin just absolutely cry at the amount of punishment that is being sent his way. I honestly almost feel kind of bad here. This feels. Oh no! Oh, Jin, this is looking. Oh, Jin, no, this is not looking like it's going too good for you. Let's shift back over to me, throw it back onto myself, as it were, and we'll just go for another God's Hand here. Why not? Why not? Ow! I feel bad for him.
I'm nowhere near Takaya's level, but I've improved since we last fought. You can't hide your weaknesses from me.
I really was not trying, Jin. Trust me, I was not. Alright, so he goes for his weakness scan here, and goes for a shock grenade. Makes sense that he goes for that, though unfortunately for him, didn't quite work out the way he was hoping for. Oh well. And he's going to just face down yet another God's Hand. It is just not Jin's day, really. Let me see here. I will utilize a bead on the protagonist here. Don't really need to bust out Norn to do party-wide healing, since the party really hasn't taken any damage at this point. We're just going to go for another God's Hand here. Fish for every crit we can possibly get. And didn't get one there, but that is a-okay. Go for another Primal Force. I guess, do you want to make me happy with the crit here? No, but that's fine. Okay, so we got Potent Stun Injection here, where he decides to power himself up a little bit. Sacrificed his life to boost his attack. That's, probably seemed like a good idea at the time. Let's see here. What we're going to do is we're just going to uncork Scarlet Havoc on him right now. Very good chance to take him down with a crit, and if we're lucky and get that crit... Okay, did not get the crit. I do want to be a little bit careful about how I approach this, so let's see here. Yeah, I think his stuff is going to run out soon. I'm just going to actually play a little bit cautiously here, because we don't fully know what he's capable of. I'm going to go for the God's Hand on Akihiko. Okay, nothing going there. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to have Aegis use an item on the party for once. So let's see here. We're just going to use one of our Aohige specials here. We'll have plenty of the... Well, okay, we have 6 of them to work with. Not a great amount, but more than enough to cover us for the remainder of the night. Here comes a Megadown from Jin, getting a chance to actually utilize his persona here. To not much effect, as you can see. Oh, goodness. This is kind of verging onto cruelty at this point. Regardless, we're going to just, you know what? I don't even really think the buffs are worth resetting up at this point. We're just going to beat away at him and take him down in fairly short order. Let's see here. What do I want Koromaru to do? May as well go for the Getsue. It's got a decent critical rate, so it's never a bad idea to try and work it in there. Akihiko's buffs are going to expire, but you know what? I feel like Strega as a whole, Akihiko probably has the... Between him and Ken, they definitely have the most personal beef with these guys, so I feel like it's fitting to let him get in some pretty good strikes here. Go for an Electric Onslaught to just absolutely annihilate this guy. As if we needed any more level ups at this point.
You needn't hurry. The moment we await is predestined. It's only a matter of time.
Please be careful. I sense even greater power than before.
I'm sure you do, Fuka. I am sure you do. Thought I'd include Takaya being super casual at the start there before going into his usual spiel. We couldn't get past him without a fight, as it turns out. Not that I was really expecting it. Anyways, I'm going to give you 3 guesses how I'm going to handle this fight here. So, we're going to open up with Thunder Rain and our auto buffs in play, and then, oh right, these things just do not work out very well for this poor guy.
Here's our chance. Let's do it.
I agree, Ken. I agree. This is really just the golden opportunity right here. Oof.
Even as I speak, I can feel it. The end of everything.
Sorry, I skipped through his text there. I was trying to clear out the rush. I knew I should have switched my tactics there. Oh well. It's not that big a deal if he survives for a turn. It would be nice to give him an opportunity to actually do something, you know?
We are mere mortals. We cannot change our fate. You would be foolish to deny it. Here's a chance.
Let's get him!
I wonder, do I have Junpei on knockdown? Okay, I do. Never mind, we can just deny him his turns altogether.
Return to normal.
And yes, he only gets one action, so because I forgot to change Akiko's tactics, and because the dialogue interrupted my rush, that did end up throwing a bit of a wrench into how I was going to approach this fight, but that's okay. We were able to course correct pretty fine.
Seems we are destined to be in opposition. How can you summon such power, even in the face of death?
Here's our chance. Let's do it.
Simple, Takaya. I actually have friends on my side.
Understood.
Death is but a blessing. You needn't hurry. The moment we await is predestined. It's only a matter of time.
Please be careful. I sense even greater power than before.
I kinda doubt it, Fuka. Though I did forget to put Sibylle back on, so I don't have my auto buffs ready. That probably is not gonna matter too much, but we'll see how that swings the battle for Takaya.
Here's our
Okay, you didn't actually get a chance to taunt us while I just knocked him over. Okay, this is...
Even as I speak, I can feel it. The end of everything. I pity those who cannot see it for what it truly is. A blessing.
Oh, well, if that's how you feel, Takaya, I got several blessings coming up for you right here. Mitsuru in particular is just filled with blessings. She's got plenty to spare.
Let's finish this.
Another all-out attack, another 1600 damage to Takaya. I mean, he wants the end to come, so he must be in heaven right now.
We are mere mortals. We cannot change our fate. You would be foolish to deny it.
Hey, how about you have some help from the divine here? Just a godly hand coming on down. There we go.
Let us strike while the iron's hot.
We might not actually be able to finish him off with this. It looks like the load kind of roll on the damage with the second all-out attack, so he may, yeah, he's gonna get his action off.
Seems we are destined to be in opposition. How can you summon such power, even in the face of death?
Pretty easily, actually. Takaya has recovered, and he's going for Mind Charge here, which, not exactly what I would advise in this situation, because he's only gonna get the one turn, and I don't think he's gonna be able to accomplish much with it. Yeah, it's, not looking too good for Takaya here.
I won't miss.
Oof, just the worst possible fate there. Physical attack from Yukari? What a way to go.
You needn't hurry. The moment we await is predestined. It makes no difference whether it comes sooner or later.
Blah, blah, blah. Does this guy come with an off switch? Anyways, I should probably be a little bit more efficient in my actions here, so why don't we prep up our next strike, and then hit him once all the buffs and debuffs are in play. I think that would be a wise course of action here. And, of course, we'll go with all the same usual stuff. Hey, if we're even lucky, we might see a critical hit come through. That would allow us to just pass it off to the protagonist. Unfortunately, not really counting on it. That crit we got with Primal Force in the battle with Jin.
Even as I speak, I can feel it. The end of everything. I pity those who cannot see the blessing it truly is. We are mere mortals. We cannot change our fate. Out of my way!
What was I even saying here? Well, there goes Jin trying to hit Koromaru, who I seem to still have his, what is it? His, darkness, or his light, immunity accessory on him. I'm gonna want to switch that off him before we get into the final battle, but I've got time to switch that out later. Let's see. We do have the Oracle ready. You know what? I'm gonna fire up the Oracle just to see what we get here.
Yes.
If we get a bunch of, charge and, concentrate? Unfortunately, no. Just an extension to all our existing buffs. That is a-okay, though. Certainly, it would be nice to be able to just smash this guy in very short order. Looks like we might have actually hit a point. Let me go for another attack here. I can't tell if we're actually damaging here, because I think they actually want you to do this fight for long enough that he can actually do some actions here. They're not just gonna let you all-out attack him into oblivion like you could in the older versions of the game.
I don't like the look in your eyes. What is it that you see before you now?
Well, I see hope for tomorrow, honestly.
Hope? That's truly ridiculous. How absurd. I can't bear to watch you all. Death.
Anyways, here goes Takaya with Soul Drain, and there goes all my SP, but that is A-okay, because we've got plenty of items in reserve to help us mitigate that loss there. And there goes one of my homunculi, as well as Akihiko just withstanding the attack there. Let's see, you know what, I'm gonna go for God's Hand just to see if I can get a crit. No such crit, unfortunately. What I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to have Koromaru use Power Howling to get that set up on everybody for an upcoming turn. We're also going to have Akihiko heal himself up so that he just doesn't get taken out by any stray hits here. Let me see. Ooh, I might have made a slight mistake in not re-upping Debilitate, but that's okay. What I'm going to do preemptively here is, instead of having Aegis launch an attack, I'm going to refresh Mataru Kaja, because that's about to wear off. As long as we have our extra powerful attacks in... oh, hey! He's actually still got one more turn of that being in effect. There we go. Fear onto Akihiko, which is a little unfortunate, but still perfectly manageable. What I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to use a Patra Gem on Akihiko, make sure he doesn't get taken out, and it looks like the Debilitate is still sticking around, so let's definitely have Koromaru refresh that before it goes away on us. Oh, you know, I already completely forgot the extension we got from Oracle. Let's see here. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to have Akihiko just go for the God's Hand, see if he can get a crit. And let's see, again, I'm just gonna have Aegis refresh some of our buffs here. Waiting for just the right opportunity to hit this guy.
It seems we are destined to be at odds. How can you summon such power even in the face of death? Incorrigible as always.
I don't even know the meaning of the word. Here comes a Megalodon from Takaya, which probably is not going to be terribly threatening. Yeah, we're doing quite well there. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to switch over to... oh, right, I don't actually have any SP, though. Let me switch back to Ashura, because he's just got the greater defenses. Let's actually use a Soma on the party here. Make sure we are fully restored. I'm going to need to re-up my SP anyway. And let's have Koromaru just swing for the fences and hopefully get a crit here. I don't want to go too fast because, again, there is one specific point in the fight I think we need to reach before we can actually kill him, and any excess damage is just going to be eaten. Alright.
This is my resolve.
And then, do I just want to go for the Primal Force now? Yeah, let's just use the Primal Force now. There we go.
Why? Fate is supposed to have chosen me. This again. My resolve still not strong enough. If so, I'll throw away my trivial pride. With my entire being, I will bring you to your knees! Salvation has come! Hypnos!
Damage inflicted.
Takaya's got a new trick in this version of the game, his own Theurgy. It was pretty impressive. It it definitely looked scary. I don't really think it compares to Scarlet Havoc. Let me demonstrate for you.
This can't be.
And the
Let's
final
win this.
battle.
I know we could do it.
It's time to face off against Nyx. Naturally, we're going to want to get our tactics set first. I'm going to put Junpei on full assault, and I'm going to keep Akihiko and Ken on heal and support the entire battle. Akihiko, for his part, is never going to stop throwing up debuffs. That's his function in this fight. The way I'm planning to play this, I could probably keep Junpei on full assault for most of the battle as well, or heal and support for the entire battle as well, but I'd rather just more organically switch between them and try to keep closer track on what's actually going on in the battle. For my part, I've got Raphael for our auto team buffs, and now we're going to immediately switch into our first heavy elemental hitter. One other notable thing that I got here is Skatak, because while we are immune to most ailments, we are still vulnerable to poison. So I will want Skatak around to actually be able to cure that. One other thing that's probably not going to be super relevant, but I actually lost track of my grinding, and I only got 3 Tomes of the Void, so Junpei is actually rocking a Narcissus' Flower, because really, just avoiding being charmed is the only thing I care about for my teammates. The rest of these things are completely treatable, and again, Amrita will treat any ailment. Anyways, starting this first phase off, Nyx does not actually do anything on their first turn. They will just simply laugh at you, maybe throw out a tier 1 spell if you wait until they act. We're not going to wait that long. This battle is divided into many, many different phases, so be prepared for a long one. This first phase, very much a low ball to establish the intimidation factor. And Ken should just immediately polish this one off. Oh, there goes Akihiko instead.
The moment man devoured the fruit of knowledge, he sealed his fate. Entrusting his future to the cards, man clings to a dim hope. Yes, the Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Attaining one's dream requires a stern will and unfailing determination.
Going into the Magician phase, I'm going to hit Rush here so that Junpei uses a normal physical attack. I do not want Junpei to actually be using his Brave Blade, because while it is more damage...
Nyx's Arcana changed to the Magician? Be careful, its properties have changed.
It is more damage over using just a normal attack, but it also has a considerable HP cost, and I don't want Junpei to be spending that every turn. Moving into this next phase, let me just check my stuff here. I think what I'll actually go into is I'm going to switch into, does he have two-handed sword mastery? Nah, he's not. Okay, so instead I'll switch into Odin. I was just going to go for the more economical option of having Siegfried launch physical attacks. Note that you cannot be in the great condition on the final night or the final night of the game. The game simply does not let you get into that position. Bit unfortunate, but hey, it's what we gotta deal with. Good damage from Thunder Rain there. Ken will likely get the finisher on this one.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. All shall perish. The time has come.
It changed properties again. If you need me to analyze it, just say the word.
We're not going to bother with any analysis, Fuka. Also, whoops, I accidentally skipped a dialogue line from Nyx. Luckily, I've got 3 other variants of it, so we'll see the whole spiel regardless. Anyways, heading into the Priestess phase, of course, we've got ice skills being slung our way. So let me see. I want to be mindful of exactly what order we're going to phases in. Norn will be good for the next 2 phases, because we've got Wind and Elect coming up, and they drain both of those, so that's who we're going to be sticking with here for this next upcoming phase. It is rather unfortunate, the amount of damage that is actually being thrown at Nyx here, because Akihiko is unwilling to do debuffs when he can get the kill, and that's actually pretty unfortunate for us. Remember that Ken in this version of the game will only go for... Yeah, let's let Akihiko do the Masakunda here. He will only go for Medea Rahan when the entire team is in peril.
All shall perish.
With the Mebufalas coming out, there is a chance that Akihiko will get knocked down here, but that is merely an annoyance. Alright. let me see here. I don't believe Norn has any healing in this version. I want to be mindful of how many healing items I actually have here, because that can be quite useful for us. Yes, we've got plenty of beat chains, so I'm going to do something a little counterintuitive and actually use a beat chain so that Ken will go for an attack and get us into the next phase. And then I want Junpei on heal and support, so he'll set up the Ma Rakukaja for us. So let me use that beat chain there. Might seem kind of overkill, but this is the final battle of the game, so if there's any strategic value we can get out of the items that we have at this stage of the game, it would be very wise to use them. And let's have, just to make sure that Ken goes into the attack here.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Celebrate life's grandeur, its brilliance, its magnificence.
Something about Nyx keeps changing.
Heading into the Empress phase, wind skills are going to be thrown our way now, and this is actually a convenient time for the defensive buff to expire, because now, Junpei is going to set it up, it's going to have its full timer, and I don't have to worry about him getting knocked down and potentially stalling out when the buff is going to come out. Nyx is probably going to knock him down here, because all of our buffs have expired at this point. I'm not too concerned about the wind break, because, we are not weak to wind naturally anyway. Yeah, like I expected there, Junpei got knocked down. It's not a multi-targeting skill that was used, so Junpei just has to suffer the knockdown there. We have a little bit of healing coming out from the regenerate there, which every little bit is appreciated. So I don't want to go into Odin, because in this version of the game, he's still weak to wind, so that would be an unwise decision, but we're not going to have any ice skills coming up in the future, so I can just switch into Cert and do a standard Ragnarok instead. At this phase of the fight, I'm not going to bother setting up any attack buffs. I'm fine with just the damage we're going to be laying out here. It's okay to just grind this out bit by bit. Good amount of damage onto Nyx there. Ken does not seem to think it's worthwhile to heal. Akihiko going for Ma Secunda. Obviously, I'd much rather he do something like Ma Tarunda or even Ma Rakunda, since that gives us so much more survivability, but Akihiko is as Akihiko does. You just have to hope he uses something relatively useful. There is a chance that Junpei could have dodged that there, so that is kind of nice in its own way, but not something we could really bank on. Gonna go for another Ragnarok here. I could switch into Odin to make... Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna take a risk on this. Let's switch into Odin and preemptively hit a rush on Nyx here. Actually, you know what? No, not a rush on Nyx. I want to see if Ken will go into the healing.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Only courage in the face of doubt can lead one to the answer.
That wasn't good.
Fortunately, Ken giving me the healing here. Remember that if we die, it's game over. Here comes a Ma Rakunda from Akihiko, and we're seeing a frustrating thing about the way buffs and debuffs work for Nyx, or rather, debuffs specifically. Because Nyx takes 2 actions per turn, and here comes the almighty attacks, these can be pretty brutal, so be prepared for those to come out. Here comes a Zeodyne, dumped on Ken's head, but he is fine, so yeah, we're not going to be able to deal any real damage with Odin here. We're going to switch over to Norn, who does still drain Alek, and will be able to deal full damage to Nyx here. Let's do the Phanta Ray. We'll be able to enjoy some extra damage because the Ma Rakunda is up. There we go. Dirahan coming out from Ken. Ideally, Akihiko uses Ma Tarunda here, but again, okay, there we go. Always appreciative of him. But yeah, be mindful of the almighty attack. It is a physical almighty attack that hits all your party, so it can potentially crit, which is a bit of an unfortunate thing to have happen. Ooh, that is actually not what I want Junpei to do. I took him off of heal and support, didn't I? It's not the end of the world, but it is a little frustrating. Zeodyne coming out into Akihiko, who just completely stuffs it, so we're not all that concerned about that. And a quick drain onto me. Yeah, this is where it's so easy to lose track of your tactics and have an unfortunate thing happen. and I will want to actually let Junpei just get that set back up on everyone, so I am going to just keep him on heal and support and just kind of suffer some extra damage onto him coming up in a bit. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm good to stick with Norn, so let's go with another Phanta Ray onto Nyx here. You're going to hear me hum the aria of the soul throughout this battle.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. It is indeed a precious gift to understand the forces that guide oneself.
Going into the Hierophant phase, Nyx is going to attack with slash skills, but otherwise nothing too scary. We should be good to go here. Get the Masakunda out. Any dodges we get in this fight will be much appreciated. Much less damage to have to worry about. Again, I'm going to keep Junpei on. I kept Junpei on heal and support here to get the Ma Rakukaja re-upped on everyone. That means Junpei is going to be slightly staggered, but as long as I'm there we go, Fatal End coming out. As long as I'm mindful of not keeping him on heal and support, here comes Rebellion from Nyx. Not anything I'm too concerned about. Let's see, the Hierophant here is specifically nullifies strike skills. Not anything I need to worry too much about. Alrighty, let's go into... Yeah, we can just honestly stick with the Phanta Ray here. We should be fine with that. Deal a little bit of extra damage here. Is Ken gonna do any healing, or is he gonna go for a strike? He's gonna go for a strike. Akihiko going for the Matarunda, which is always the thing that I appreciate seeing. Gotta remember to send Junpei out to rush so that he just uses a normal physical attack. Okay, another almighty attack coming out here. Pretty rough damage, but not anything we can't handle. Especially with that, ooh, that's unfortunate. Especially with that Matarunda in effect. Ow. Very brutal damage there. Fortunately, Ken will heal me up here, so I don't have to be too concerned about that. But it is pretty rough, and it is kind of scary to see that kind of thing happen. Can happen at any time, so hopefully you don't get caught out too badly here. We're going to be going into the next phase where we have lovers coming up, so I'm just weighing my options here. I should be fine to just do this right here. Ken will, of course, heal me up, no problem.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. There is both joy and wonder in coming to understand another.
And we're in the lovers phase. Here's where we can potentially see some status ailments coming out, so be prepared for the possibility of that. Ma Rakunda from Akihiko here, always wonderful to see. Wait for Junpei to get his Spring of Life proc, go in for the hit, and then take him off of Rush there. There we go. If he actually gets the soft crit like that, and Palinpa no threat to us, we completely stonewall it. Junpei is vulnerable to it, but it's not that big a deal. Note that Junpei is going to be taking slightly more damage here, so that's something to be mindful of. Nyx also nullifies wind here, so we've got to be mindful of that. Let me see here. I'm going to switch back to Cert here, I think. Yeah, Cert should be fine. Do another Ragnarok here. Ideally, Ken does Media Rahan, but again, I'm kind of at the mercy of the RNG there. The AI needs to determine that that is a worthwhile action to take. It did not determine that it was a worthwhile action to take at all.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. One of life's greatest blessings is the freedom to pursue one's goals.
Okay, Masakunda coming out. I would much prefer Matarunda on this cycle, but it's not a big deal. Spring of Life coming out from Junpei here, and whoops, I forgot to do the rush there. Yeah, it's, ooh, yeah, very unfortunate. Not that it would have mattered either way, though it would have saved Junpei a little bit of HP. Good dodge there. Defense is reverted. She's going for the power charge here. Let me see. What I'm going to do is set Junpei to heal and support here, so that we get the Ma Rakukaja back up on everyone. And I'm actually going to use our first Soma here to make sure we have enough SP for the rest of the battle. Not leave healing up to Ken, though he would definitely use Media Rahan at this phase of the battle. Let me just think here. What was the last attack that they just used? Was an almighty attack? Yeah, we should be just fine to stick with what we got here. So I will use the Soma, and then the battle should just be able to run as normal here. Ken will go out and do a Spear Strike. No chance of... Oh, he goes for the Zeodyne here. Probably that's not going to work. No, it did work. Okay. Not sure why he thought that was more effective than going for the Spear Strike. But maybe he knows something that I don't. Marakunda, not the preferred action I would take from Akihiko there, but hey, it's what it is. It is what it is. Rakukasha coming out from Junpei, always appreciated. And we've got Heat Wave coming out. Potentially ugly damage here. Yeah, a little bit nasty, but not anything we weren't able to handle. God's Hand coming out. There's a high crit rate on that, but it didn't result in anything nasty happening. Let's get Junpei back on full assault here. And let's, let me think here. I do want to scan this so that Junpei knows to use Agidyne. One of the niche situations where Agidyne is a very good idea for Junpei to use. Get that damage in there.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. To find the one true path, one must seek guidance amidst uncertainty.
Heading into the Justice phase, this is the first phase that's going to be kind of precarious and scary for me in FES, because I don't really have a good way to counter against the light skills that this thing utilizes. We just have to suffer that chance that somebody will get popped with Mahama, and when it's using Mamudo skills, somebody getting popped with Mudo, which, yeah, you know, obviously Ken is very, very susceptible to that kind of thing. Defense is reverted. Almighty attack coming out again. Yeah, pretty nasty damage there, but Ken is at the threshold where he's going to use maybe a Rahan for us here. Let me see. I want to switch over to Norn. Norn is actually quite valuable here, having the two drain skills, as well as no exploitable weakness, and giving me a little bit of passive healing with Regenerate and Invigorate, making things just a little bit more consistent for us. Hit Nyx with the Phanta Ray here for good damage. And of course, Ken going for the Medea Rahan. He knows not to play stupid games there to win stupid prizes. Ideally, anyway. Rakunda coming out from Akihiko. And we'll hit the rush here so that Junpei goes in for his Sword Strike. Need to keep hawk-like attention to Junpei. Here comes a Hamon. Okay, that's good, that's good. Another Hamon. Ideally, yes, on Ken, who is completely immune to that, so we don't have to worry at all about what happens to him. On this phase right here, let me see. I do want to actually be mindful of if I have anything that is immune to Dark, because that is the next phase we're going into. So yes, I've got Sibylle here, coming in for a niche counterpick to Nyx's actions. Save me some homunculi. There we go.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. It requires great courage to look at oneself honestly and forge one's own path.
Heading into the Hermit phase here, we're gonna have Mudo skills being tossed our way, sending Ken up just for a normal physical attack there. Matarunda, always the ideal thing for Akihiko to be using. Once again, sending Junpei up just for a normal Sword Strike here. His defense is reverting, so that means it's our cue to get our defenses refortified on the following turn. And Poisma coming out here. Unfortunately, nothing I can really do about that. Just kind of have to suffer that. So we're going to have to take a bit of a slower turn here. Gonna put Junpei on heal and support. We are going to use a Disc Poison on Akihiko since he's the only one suffering from an ailment at this point. Let me just see here. Yeah, the stuff is expiring. I just gotta always be reminding myself what I'm wanting to accomplish in any given phase of this battle. Let's go. Good damage coming out from Ken. I would actually like to see Masakunda stick here. Any bit of extra dodge would always be appreciated. Or we can just get some more damage in on the next turn we get to act. Rakukaja coming out from Junpei, putting us in good standing. We want this up at all times. Ideally, we would have Matarunda and, Masakunda up at all times, but due to Nyx's double-counted debuff counters. That is just not something that's really feasible for us. Let me see. Going into the next phase, I do just want to switch over to Norn here. Let me see. Hermit is... nullifies wind, so I wouldn't be able to actually deal any damage there. Let me see here. What is the safest thing that wouldn't take any damage from what Nyx is about to do? That's a toughie there. Norn can't damage this phase of Nyx. Let's see here. How much HP does she have left? Just making some decisions here. Let's see. I think the smart thing to do would just be to switch into Norn here. And we're just going to go for some normal attacks to try and nickel and dime Nyx into the next phase of the battle. There we go. Oh, whoops. Would have liked Akihiko to do a debuff there.
Is the means by which all is revealed. Alongside time exists fate, the bearer of cruelty.
Going into a potentially perilous phase here as Nyx goes for the Fortune Arcana, giving her access to a full spread of elemental skills. So we're going to be seeing a lot of nasty stuff thrown our way, and she could potentially score some extra turns here. Luckily, she actually brought Junpei back up to his feet, so he's doing just fine here. Let's see. She nullifies all elements in this phase, so we just have to hack away at her with our physical attacks, but that's no problem by me. Ooh, nice. I actually got a crit there. Pretty good damage on that as well. Dia Rahan coming out from Ken. Akihiko, of course, just going back to his standard debuff botting here. Masakunda, give us a better chance to dodge and avoid any potential turn gains from Nyx. At the very least, a small chance of getting that. Love those soft crits from Junpei. Alright, that's a good cast there. Aguilau coming out. And once again, Nyx is just being kind of foolish there. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, I will just go for my own strike here. Nice, another crit. Excellent stuff there.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Only with strength can one endure suffering and torment.
Going into the strength phase here, Nyx is immune to all physicals, so that's not going to work out. Junpei is just kind of going to be left in the lurch here, though he'll probably learn that he can use fire spells on Nyx here. Not that it's great damage, and he's going to be setting up I should have sent him to Rush just so he would not waste time doing Brave Blade. Comes Deathbound. Ooh, unfortunate one there. But again, this is Persona 3 FES, where we don't have to worry that much about people getting knocked over like that. Alright, what we need to do here is get Junpei onto heal and support. And then I am just going to... Yeah, I'll just stick with the... Let's scan this. I'm wondering if I should do some healing, or if I can trust Ken to do the healing he needs to do. A little precarious situation we found ourselves in. Let me see. Let's compare and contrast the endurance values. Norn has pretty low endurance. Cert has very high endurance. We're going to switch into Cert. That'll give me a little bit more safety here. And hopefully Ken does what he needs to and actually uses Media Rahan. If he doesn't, it's going to be kind of scary, but ooh, that's unfortunate. Gonna stall this phase out a little bit. Yeah, he's doing just normal Dia Rahan. I get his logic, but it is not the thing he should be doing.
I've regained my honor.
Akihiko is going to be especially vulnerable here because, obviously, he does not have a defense buff to go into this next phase. He is, just working with his standard endurance, which, to be fair, is not that terrible. Almighty attack coming out. Okay, not too scary. And Tempest Slash, as long as it's not a crit, we're fine, and it was not. Tempest Slash is a really unthreatening skill in Persona 3 FES most of the time. The enemies that actually do anything of significance with it tend to have highly inflated strength stats. There we go. Once again, Ken just being not very helpful with how he decides to go about things. Marakunda coming out from Akihiko. Not the choice I would make, but hey, go off, Akihiko. Junpei knows that his physical skills are worthless here, so he gets the niche pick into Akidyne, which surprisingly a lot more damage than I would have expected. Alright, his defense is down. Got another Tempest Slash coming out. Okay. Let me see here. Yeah, Ken will do the healing on me, so I shouldn't have to be too afraid. Ken will, if he's using a single target healing skill, will always go for the person.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. In the face of disaster lies opportunity for renewal.
Ken will use his single target heals on the person who has the lowest HP percentage-wise, and fortunately, that's actually a situation where the protagonist being pretty middle of the road when it comes to HP actually works quite well to his benefit. Let's do a rush attack from Junpei there. We've got almighty skills being flung our way now, which really not that threatening compared to just the basic almighty attacks. Evil Touch, not something I need to be too concerned about. And yeah, we're actually looking pretty good going into this phase of the battle. Let me see. Yeah, there's nothing that this phase the Hangman is immune to, so we can just pop off with Ragnarok once again. Ken will almost assuredly go for just a standard Dirahan on Junpei, which in this situation, honestly, that's just fine. He should be doing good there.
It doesn't seem like...
And then Masakunda coming out from Akihiko. We'll have Junpei go in for another Sword Strike. If he can get a soft crit, that would be really helpful. Nah, that was a... Ooh, Mudo coming out from Nyx here. Ah, unsurprising. That does mean we're going to have to slow our roll a little bit here. Luckily, that one was not a hit. Okay. What we're going to need to do here, this is actually a somewhat problematic situation to find ourselves in. Also going to throw my turn order off a bit, though that shouldn't matter too much here. What I'm going to do is hit Ken with the Balm of Life. We definitely need Junpei to set up the defensive buff for us, so hopefully he thinks to do that. Akihiko going for a full heal on himself. Here comes Junpei with Marakukaja, exactly what I wanted from him, so we're doing good there. Yeah, that unfortunate Mudo on Ken does throw things out of touch a little bit, but as long as, funnily enough, Nyx is using Evil Touch there, we're able to stay on top of things. Megidola, not that scary, I can live with that. Okay, and now Ken is at the top of the turn order. A little undesirable, but not the worst positioning we can have. So, the only person I'd really hate to have thrown out of their turn order is Junpei. I really need him to be at dead last to make sure that we're getting our Marakukajas in the situation that we need them, or situations. Get Ragnarok here, and if this connects, it should move us into the final phase.
The moment man devoured the fruit of knowledge, he sealed his fate. Entrusting his future to the cards, man clings to a dim hope. Yet the Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Beyond the beaten path lies the absolute end. It matters not who you are. Death awaits you.
And thus, the final phase begins. I always get nervous this deep into the fight. This is a long battle with many room for things to go wrong. Akidyne coming out from Nyx here. Fortunately, onto somebody who wasn't weak to it. Not that we have anybody who's weak to it, actually. Oh, that's a little bit unfortunate. Akidyne coming out. Yeah, so that's a little rough, but not anything we can't handle. Okay, not exactly the action I would pick, Ken.
I sense death. Nyx's true arcana is death.
Okay, a little bit rough there, but at least nothing too nasty happened. Marakunda coming out from Akihiko. Again, not the decision I would exactly make there, but hey, go off, Akihiko. We'll have Junpei just do a normal sword strike here. We've got 6,000 HP to burn through on Nyx, so this is quite the battle we are in for. Agidine coming out, and fortunately onto somebody who is immune to it. Oh, come on, Ken. That is clearly a situation to use, what is it? Medea Rahanen. Very poor decision-making from our young healer. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to take this opportunity, let's see here. How much endurance does Siegfried have? Not much, actually. Let's see here. Just thinking carefully about what I want to switch into. Probably for the most valuable defense, I'm going to go for Sibylle, actually. I'm going to use up another one of my Somas here to keep us in relatively good standing. So let's get that thrown out. Where are they, even? And this battle, or rather this phase specifically, this is the longest phase of the fight, 6,000 HP to chunk through, and Nyx is constantly throwing out just absolutely disgusting damage at us the whole way through. We really need to be mindful of Nyx potentially getting any follow-up turns. Really don't want to deal with that. Gargadine coming out. Nothing too bad for Akihiko there. Ufudine coming out. That's fine, that's fine. Ken will probably heal himself right here. There we go. Our defense buff is reverting at this point, so what we're going to do is we're going to have Junpei set that up, and for the first time in this battle, I'm actually going to have the protagonist bother to set up a buff himself. We're going to switch over to Raphael, and we're going to hit the Mataru Kaja on the team, get a little bit more damage going as we progress through the battle. What I'd really like to see from Akihiko is him getting those Matarundos up more consistently. Would really help us stay on top of the damage Nyx is dealing. Though admittedly, I do kind of want Nyx to be dealing at least some damage every single turn, because we do want Ken to actually be healing people. For a very particular phase of this battle that's coming up soon. Well, not phase, but very particular turn cycle of this battle that's coming up soon. So, dying onto Ken, that's fine. Almighty attack coming out. That's also fine. Dirahan from Ken, likely onto himself. Yeah, that works out. Alright, now I'm going to switch over to Norn. Again, Norn doesn't have any weaknesses, so while her endurance isn't the greatest, she is a much safer switch-in compared to other options that I have most of the time. Also want to make sure that we have Junpei back on full assault, just in case I forget. I don't want him to waste time just throwing an item or something. Get the Fanta Ray onto Nyx here. Not as much damage as the previous phases. Nyx is a bit sturdier this cycle of the battle, so be prepared for that. Let's go into slash attack here. Agidine coming out. Not too bad, not too bad. And an almighty attack here. Okay, Ken, are you gonna go for it? No, he's not gonna go for Medirahan. This is actually a situation where I want to take the time to heal up the team, so this is where we'll use a bead chain to keep everybody at max HP, since Ken didn't exactly do a useful action there. And Junpei is a nice, reliable anchor for this battle, always able to contribute a little bit of damage. As long as we've got like buffs and debuffs in play, he can usually do about 200 damage per turn with his sword. Maybe not quite that much, but still pretty good damage that I like to see. Okay, Poison Mist coming out, and this is where having Skatak is handy. Not what I wanted you to do, Ken. Whatever, that's fine. It's fine, it's fine. Ken's being kind of weirdly annoying with how he decides to handle things in this battle. That's fine, though, that's fine. We'll use our own Disc Poison on Akihiko here. Get him back to normal.
Nice timing.
I was just going to use Amrita, but again, sometimes you can't really predict what the AI is going to do. And then, once again, rush in with Junpei. He's going to need to set our defense buffs again next turn, but that is okay. There we go.
You cannot avoid death. To live is to die. They are one and the same. It's useless. All shall perish.
Ooh, that's very unfortunate. The Moonless Gown, not something you want to see come up when Ken is going first and he doesn't know to hold his... Yep, there we go. That's fine, that's fine.
Wait! I have a bad feeling about this. It's definitely up to something. Have everyone hold their attacks. It's too dangerous right now.
Fun fact, that's actually the first time I've seen what the Moonless Gown actually does. Interesting, interesting. But yeah, Ken has no problem if everybody's at full HP. That is why I wanted, okay, I'm going to switch over to Sibylle for defensive purposes here, because we just got hit with a Elect Break. That is why I didn't want Ken going first, because if Nyx didn't damage us at the end of her previous turn like she did, he just blunders right into the stupid Moonless Gown and just decides to damage himself for no reason, or rather kill himself. Very foolish, yeah. But yeah, I've never actually seen what the Moonless Gown actually does. I've always been able to, you know, resist the urge to just hit into it. So, hey, just one last time, I'm learning something new in this LP. That's kind of beautiful, actually. Evil Smile coming out. Junpei is vulnerable to this, don't forget, so that's something we gotta be mindful of. Matarunda coming out. That's just a nuisance more than anything. I don't think I told Ken to hold off, and I did not. Yeah, he's, again, just going to hit into the Moonless Gown. That was my B there. I should have remembered to take him off of heal and support. That's okay, though. We've got plenty of Bombs of Life. This does unfortunately mean that we're going to have to just let Junpei try to sort himself out, but I'm probably going to put him on standby anyway, so whatever. Let's use the Bomb of Life on Ken again, get him back in. It would be nice if they put him in a different spot in the turn order. As long as he's not going before, or as long as he's going before Junpei, that's all I really care about. And the reason I didn't bother to change his tactics there is because Moonless Gown only goes for the 2 turns, so once that turn had passed, I didn't have to worry about that anymore. Yep, there comes the critical onto Junpei. Dirahan onto Ken. Yeah, we got our everything kind of screwed up here, so that's a bit unfortunate, but it's not anything we can't handle. Honestly, if Junpei's just gonna be afraid, I might as well just put him on full assault anyway and wait for him to get back up. Let's see here, what I'm going to do here. We're still waiting out that Elect Break. Let's go for... just thinking about what would be a good option here. Actually, you know what? I will get rid of the fear on Junpei, so let's go for just the Mapatra Gem, whatever. Overkill, but hey, it gets the job done. Hopefully we can get back in cycle now. Junpei will be getting himself back up. Poor guy, poor guy. Poor Ken, also. I just kept forgetting to tell him to hold his roll a little bit. Okay. On the bright side, Nyx's damage never really increases that much. It's a pretty consistent amount of damage coming your way the entire battle. Finally, Ken does what I want him to do with his healing. Always good to see when Ken finally does something helpful. Alright, with the Elec Affinity reverted, I can now switch back into Norn and keep up with the Phanta Rays. Of course, our attack power has been dropped a little bit, and Akihiko hasn't set a Marakunda, so we're going to be dealing slightly low damage here, but not anything that's too terrible. There we go. And then we will have Junpei rush in, hopefully get a nice meaty hit here. Not quite. But damage is damage. I'm not too pressed about Nyx using Dekunda, honestly. Almighty attack coming out. Since, well, that's just not, the debuffs on Nyx expire so quickly anyway. That's kind of just like a good waste of Nyx's action there. Alright, fortunately our attack power is restoring at this point. Let's also have Junpei get the Ma Rakukaja buff back up on us. Get another Phanta Ray onto Nyx here. This time it'll be a bit meatier, probably closer to 300 damage. We're dealing 300 damage per hit, that means we just need to do 20 of those and Nyx will fall over for good. Obviously I'd like the fight to go a little bit faster than that, but you can't always get what you want. Sometimes you just have to take things nice and easy. One nice thing about the Moonless Gown, and actually Nyx's faster expiration on the debuffs, is that Akihiko will always be casting debuffs on Nyx, so I don't need to modify his strategy when that comes around.
That wasn't good.
Another Dirahan from Ken coming out here. Onto Akihiko this time. I'm wondering if I should use a bead chain. Yeah, that's a little bit of a dicey situation I'm finding myself in. I think what I'll do is, yeah, go for the healing here. Make sure everybody is doing what I want them to do. And make sure that the protagonist doesn't get into any particularly risky spots. There we go. That'll make the next upcoming turn a lot safer. Junpei has also got his attack power restored a little bit, so he'll be dealing nicer damage there. Another almighty attack from Nyx. Honestly, what I would like to see from Nyx is just the 2 almighty attacks. That gives much better odds that Ken will go into Media Rahan. Okay, I think that's again, it's just so uncertain. I want to be very, very careful here, because you really don't want to lose at this phase of the battle, so... I'll take the risk. Life is no fun if you play completely riskless. You gotta take some chances every now and again. Marakunda coming out from Akihiko will be a nice offensive boon for Junpei once his turn comes up. There we go. Dekunda. Always nice to see the Dekunda there. That's just a wasted action from Nyx, really. Especially when we don't have Matarunda up. I don't mind seeing that at all. There we go. Thank you, Ken. That is exactly what I want to see from you. Alright. If only Ken would just do that every time. You know, someday you just kind of gotta suffer with the FES version of the AI. And probably the portable version, but you don't have any reason to use the AI on portable, and it would be actively detrimental. Loved finding out that the the puzzle bosses in the Vision Quest can become impossible with AI-controlled party members. They're not going to do what you want them to.
The time has come.
That was a pretty ideal time to hit the Matarunda there. Nyx, you know, wiped it out anyway, but that's not a big deal. Okay, Ken going for that onto himself. Actually, works out quite fine. Alright, let's get Junpei set up to do the... oh, he already is. Never mind. I forgot to take him off of that. Let's hit another Phanta Raid here. What I would like from Akihiko is for him to hit Matarunda again, but he kind of just cycles through his debuffs arbitrarily. He did go for the Matarunda that time, so that's good. We're also in a good position with our party's HP. Everybody's got at least a little damage onto them, so if the Moonless Gown comes up again, Ken is going to do what he should do and heal us up. And yes, here comes the Moonless Gown. Okay, so we got 2 turns of waiting for this to go through. There we go.
That wasn't good.
I think, now that we're in this situation, I actually can just keep Ken on heal and support. He will heal somebody. While I'm thinking of it, since we're just waiting around for Nyx to drop the barrier anyway, why don't we use one of our sutras up, actually. Keeps me from having to switch my persona around. I do want to put Junpei on standby, though. He'll gladly hit into the Moonless Gown, which would, of course, be no good. But, of course, well, actually... let me see here. I'm just, checking out my other options here. Not on you. I was wondering if this is one of the few times where, actually, it would be a wise idea to set a mind charge, if we happen to have something that has it. I don't think I do, though. Not a big deal. Just thought, you know, may as well keep that option. And oh, I do, actually. You know what? Let's have Sibylle set up a mind charge for us. So, we'll slap that down. And then next turn, we can set up a Mataru Kaja while we're still waiting for the Moonless Gown to go down. Go. And Junpei is just going to be waiting around this time. Matarunda from Nyx, not that big a deal. A little annoying, but not something I'm overly pressed about. Almighty attack coming out from her. Okay.
Here goes.
Weird decision from Ken there. He's probably too low on SP at this point, so I think I will just use a Soma instead. I would like to get the attack debuff countered so that we're not really wasting any damage, but I don't think that's super tenable, so yeah, we'll just use a Soma instead. Make sure that Ken is consistently healing us. That's another annoying quirk of the AI in this in FES, is that if they are low on SP, they will try to go for more quote-unquote economical healing options. Those economical healing options are always terrible. They will go for stuff like medical powders, which are completely useless at this point in the game. And there we go. Moonless Gown has dissipated. Or should I say, has been lifted. Alright, Dekunda on Nyx, that's no problem there. Rare chance to see Ken actually do some damage. I'm going to wait around a little bit before uncorking that Mind Change, or Mind Charge. We can now have Junpei go for the full assault here, and I will just go for a normal attack, honestly. There we go, good damage there. Sibylle also has good resistances, so I don't have to worry about her taking any nasty damage. Yeah, let's wait until the attack debuff expires, and then we can get an attack buff in and really enjoy a effective Mind Charge. Alright, that's not too bad. That's actually quite desirable. We're going to have Junpei going for the Maharakukaja this turn. Okay. And yeah, actually, I'm going to keep reiterating this. Nyx doing the Dekundas, that is actually pretty helpful to us more than anything. I appreciate her going for that. It's pretty low damage, honestly. Masakunda coming out from Akihiko here. Give us a better chance to avoid any potential damage. Junpei's Spring of Life is also nice in that, you know, obviously it refunds some of the HP that he's using, but also, it just pushes him out of that range where he might be tempted to use a healing item himself. Another Almighty attack coming out. Hopefully we see a Medea Rahan from Ken here. We do indeed, we do indeed. Thank you, Ken, for making the wise decision for once. Let me see here. I believe I have some Fierce Sutras in storage, so rather than switching to Raphael, I'm actually going to use the Fierce Sutra instead. May as well. Alright, there we go. If Akihiko could do a defense debuff here, and he did. This is actually a good opportunity for us to deal some nice damage. Have Junpei go up for his strike here. Sadly not a soft crit, or even just a regular crit. Oh, well, there goes that. That's okay, that's okay. Almighty attack coming out from Nyx. Nothing too bad. We're doing fine, honestly. Alright, let us switch over to Norn here, and let's uncork this Phanta Ray. Sadly, the damage has been slightly mitigated due to Nyx just deciding to clear that defense debuff, but still pretty good damage there. Speeds up the progression of the fight a little bit. And let's have Junpei go for another good strike here. Almighty attack coming out from Nyx. Would like to see a dodge on the protagonist, honestly. 2 Almighty attacks, though, perfectly survivable. Ken doing what he should be doing and going for the Medea Rahan. It's actually a convenient time for him to be topping off our HP, as we're getting to just about the grand finale for Nyx's actions in this battle. She's about to hit us with the really, really potent skill. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to switch to Cert to enjoy bigger endurance here. I'm not really concerned at this stage of the battle of Nyx potentially hitting into my ice weakness. Alright, let's hit the Ragnarok here. There we go, not bad, not bad. We're so close to victory here. Yeah, this is such a stressful battle, just because it's so long, honestly. Okay, Junpei's defense is reverting. Go, nice hit, nice hit. Moonless Gown coming back up. Ooh, that's going to be a dead Ken there. Unless she decides to do a Bufudine or... Oh my god. Of course, here comes dead Ken again. Dead Ken at ease.
Ken-kun is unconscious!
Don't worry, this time I'll remember to put him on standby. That'll be a little unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world if I have to do the healing anyway. Poor Ken, poor Ken. He keeps getting caught out by that. Let's see here. Yeah, that's why I was concerned with Ken getting tagged by Mudo, because, yeah, this is just where this phase of the fight comes in. He just keeps doing, he's just gonna keep doing that. At the very least, it's not a party-wide counter. He's not consigning the entire team to death. Let's have Junpei get the Maharakukaja, and we've got the Matarunda in effect also, so I'm actually not too concerned about what Nyx is about to do. Got Almighty attack coming out here. And Zeodyne. Not exactly what I was expecting, actually. Okay.
Junpei-kun still can't move!
What we're gonna do here, Junpei also has to go into standby real quick. And then we will use a bead chain on the party. We shouldn't need a Soma yet, we still have plenty of SP to work with. I mostly want to use that when Ken hits the 100 SP marker, and he's not exactly doing what he's supposed to be doing. Let me just double check and make sure, yeah, they're in standby. There we go. And again, we want to be at full health as much as possible here, just to account for the possibility of the worst coming to pass. Attack or good action from Akihiko there. Again, Matarunda would always be preferred, but if we can speed up the fight a little bit. Moonless Gown is dissipating, and this go around. Megidola, actually, I'm not too threatened by that. I'm gonna go into Rush here so that Ken goes in for a sword or a spear strike. Nice! Critical hit from Ken! You don't get to see that too often. Now we'll put Ken on healing again here. Getting close to the end of this battle. It's almost done. Aki or Junpei back to full assault here. Now let's see here. I think I will go for just another bead chain for safety's sake. Actually, also for safety's sake, since I'm fully healing us anyway. Gonna switch over to Norn so I have no exploitable weaknesses. Bead chain here. And Masakunda or Matarunda, either or Akihiko, do what you feel, do what you feel. He likes playing the roulette, so he enjoys putting those accuracy and evasion debuffs in effect and seeing if we can secure some dodges.
Let us finish this. It is the path of your choosing.
And here it is, Nyx's most infamous attack, Night Queen. An incredibly powerful almighty skill that inflicts random ailments on the entire party. Very, very nasty. Junpei is about to get his stuff absolutely rocked here. Yeah, there we go. And if you do not have protection against Charm, this can spell a quick and disastrous end to your fight. Or it could set you right back to square one of this phase, which, while not exactly an unwinnable situation, is certainly very annoying. Alright, we definitely need to get that distress off of Junpei, so we're just going to use the Mepatra Gen here. Just thinking real quick, yeah, we should be fine with that. Don't want Junpei getting destroyed with critical hits here. Akihiko giving us a little bit of breathing room by setting the Matarunda, allowing us to avoid huge damage on the next turn also. Alright, we're so close to the end of this battle. We've got this. Night Queen coming out again. Okay, poison is manageable. It's also poison on Akihiko, so I'm not overly threatened about that. I'm honestly going to ignore that. If it was on multiple characters, oh, come on, Ken. Not the decision I want you to make. That's terrible. Yeah, this kid doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, what we need to do here is heal support from Junpei. Oh, this is actually a very, very bad situation to find ourselves in. Let me see here. I'm going to switch over to Sibylle for the better defenses. Don't exactly need the regeneration skills. Let's switch over to Asoma here also to make sure that we're doing the best we can to mitigate, or rather stay on top of our SP concerns. Right. Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. Thank you, Akihiko. That's exactly what I needed you to do. Alright, that was a little scary. Yeah, Night Queen can sometimes just create these really undesirable situations. Okay, she's going for power charge here. And an almighty attack. Remember, it's a physical skill, even though it's almighty element. Ah, come on, Ken. Please, heal the party instead. This is exactly why I don't like him going first. That's okay, that's okay. It's a little annoying, but we're just going to have to gradually grind this out now, at least until I can get a decent turn where I can actually do something. Or Nyx just decides to do back-to-back almighty attacks, and Ken realizes, oh, I can do Media Rahan so the entire party can take actions. That's fine. We can do it bit by bit just by having Junpei quite literally hack away at Nyx. Yeah, this fight can be quite perilous in this regard. Okay. Maziodyne finally getting an opportunity to actually do some stuff. And almighty attack coming out. That's fine, that's fine. Ken's doing the Media Rahan on himself, and that actually works out just fine for me. Let's see here. What I want to do is switch over to Cert for the damage, and also the good endurance. Get the Ragnarok onto Nyx here. Hopefully we'll land this. We've got the accuracy and evasion debuff in effect. Marakunda coming out from Akihiko, and Junpei might just get the killing blow here. Go for it, my man. Oh, Moonless Gown instead. That's fine. That's fine. We can wait this. We can wait this a little bit longer. We've made it so far at this point. I think we're fine. Luckily, Ken is still on heal and support, and never mind. Oh my god, he just decides to completely screw that up. Never mind. Okay. That's unfortunate. Let me see here. Do I have anything with Enduring Soul, just out of curiosity? Or Endure? Either or is fine. Let's see here. I really need to try and keep myself stocked up on good personae for these kind of tense situations. I always find myself thinking, do I have this? But I'm like just mixing it up with a different version of the game where I do have it there, but not here. It is rather annoying that Ken, probably his thinking is that Nyx is so close to dead right now that what he wants to do is actually get the killing blow, not realizing that the Moonless Gown is there, so he's not able to actually pull that off. Gotta put Junpei on standby, and I really can't afford to revive Ken here. I just have to go for the healing. So we're gonna have to get by without Ken for a little bit. Oh no! Akihigo's in the same boat! He also knows that if he gets one more strike, he can get the kill. That's very unfortunate. Ooh, that's also very bad. AI being very, very dumb. And I can't guarantee that Junpei will go for what he needs to do either, because this is a disaster! Why did the Moonless Gown have to come up in this situation? That's so bad! Oh well, we're just gonna have to make do here. This is like the worst possible situation, short of your entire party being charmed. Like, this is just not a good situation to be in. Okay, the Moonless Gown has expired. That also luckily means we only have to survive one attack here. A nifty. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna go for it. There we go. Very, very rough ending to this battle, but I think could have been a more fitting thing.
There's nothing we can do?
Don't give up. We have to believe in him.
Give him strength! Take my life if you must!
Let's get it up. Drop the hammer down. Drop hammer, take it like a labor. You got blood all over, ash all over. Spit it out, some game's over.
He's going to face it all by himself!
No, he's not alone! I won't let him die!
Justice to the man with no life.
I won't allow this world to be destroyed!
All right, let's do this.
Let's win this! I know we could do it!
Alrighty, so much like Persona 3 FES, the first phase is kind of a gimme. Nyx doesn't really do anything. We're going to switch into Skatak and just use normal attacks with the FEMC for this first phase. Now, I don't have a dedicated debuff bot in Akihiko, so this is going to make things a little bit trickier. Though debuffs are not as strong as they normally should be in this fight for reasons we'll get into later. And we will have Aegis just finish off with a God's Hand here, this first phase.
The moment man devoured the fruit of knowledge, he sealed his fate. Entrusting his future to the cards, man clings to a dim hope. Yes, the Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Attaining one's dream requires a stern will and unfailing determination. Eternity awaits.
Heading into the first Magician phase, Nyx will stick to using fire skills. Obviously,
Nyx's Arcana changed to the Magician? Be careful, its properties have changed.
not super desirable for Mitsuru to hit into or face off against. Now, I do have a debuffer on deck for a very specific point when our buffs start expiring, and that'll help us with Nyx. Note the almighty attack that Nyx used there. Very, 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 very annoying thing to deal with in Persona 3 Portable, because that is a physical almighty skill. So it can crit, and there is nothing you can really do to defend against it consistently. That is why I have so many things set up to make sure the protagonist does not get killed, because there's just sometimes that the almighty attack will crit repeatedly, and there's really not anything you can do about it. Agidines are definitely scarier than the other skills that Nyx is using there. Yukari is basically just going to be healing us up to full after every single phase of this fight. Speaking of,
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. The silent voice within one's heart whispers the most profound wisdom. Eternity awaits.
heading into the Priestess phase, Nyx is now ice-based, so we don't want to switch into Cert just yet, because that will create an ice weakness in us. And Mitsuru will not be able to use her stronger Bufudines, but that's where it comes in handy that we have the Snow Queen's Whip on her, because she can still deal some pretty great damage with that. Not the most damage you'll ever see in this game, but if she gets these, strong strikes there, those half-a-crits that just pop up every now and again in Persona 3, FES, and Portable. She still does some pretty great damage with that. Another God's Hand here. Here comes the Mabufudine. Much easier thing for us to face down, since we have more people resistant to that. It is nice when Nyx uses those wimpy Tier 1 skills.
Properties again. If you need me to analyze it, just say the word.
Don't worry, Fuka, I have a pretty good grasp on what I need to do here, so let's see here. What I want to do this turn, yeah, once again, just go with a normal attack here. Our buffs are starting to expire, so we're going to want to have Aegis set up the defense buff, and now we kind of have to start rotating buffs around carefully. This fight is going to get pretty interesting if people start dying in Portable, because, well, obviously our normal turn order is going to become pretty quickly erratic, and it's going to be interesting to see how I can manage that, and I'm almost assuredly going to have someone die here due to the luck involved with the crits.
Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Celebrate life's grandeur, its brilliance, its magnificence. Eternity awaits.
Into the Empress Arcana, Nyx now utilizes wind skills, which is fairly easy for us to deal with. We don't have to worry too much about that. We want, now that the buffs have begun to expire, Aegis is almost going to be just a full-time buff bot for us, though I will be setting up Mataru Kaja with Kardikia, a weak Garu coming out. So yeah, the Femc's turn just gonna be dedicated to using Kardikia in order to keep the party's offense strong. And for the first time, I actually have a phase where Yukari can mix in an attack here, though it's not going to be anything particularly strong, because obviously Nyx is wind-based now, so not going to get much mileage out of Garu against her. Let's use just a Pierce attack. Still not that bad, though. And we will want to actually up Masuku Kaja, because that'll give us more opportunities to dodge, and if I can dodge almighty attacks that are coming out, that will be so helpful going forward in the battle. And weak Garu coming out, not anything that we need to worry about. Garu dying, a little bit more scary, but we can still manage that pretty well. I am wondering if I want to heal up Mitsuru there. Now that we are finally onto a phase where I'm not punching into a resistance, or Nyx is resistant to fire itself, I can now wheel out Cert and deal some very good damage with Ragnarok. That is going to be one of the big sources of our damage going through this battle. I'm wondering, yeah, it would probably be wise to keep Mitsuru top up. It's just a good idea to keep everyone at full health at all times here. I do want to be mindful of when Aegis's buff is going to expire on Ma Rakukaja, because I will want to take the opportunity to actually Matarunda Nyx. Let's get the Bufudyne here. There we go.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Only courage in the face of doubt can lead one to the answer. Eternity awaits.
Okay, starting off this phase, it is elect-based attack, so I'm actually just going to have Aegis guard if I don't absolutely need her to get an attack out. That way I don't have to worry about her, every time I see Almighty attack, it makes me sweat. But no problems come up there. But yeah, every time I don't need Aegis to actually do anything, it's best to have her guard in a phase where I know her weakness is in play. I have her with an Eon weapon instead of her usual elect patching weapon. Banger song, by the way. Great usage of the Aria of the Soul. Okay, let's see here. Defense is reverted. Okay, so definitely want to guard there. Here comes the Mazionga. We can only guarantee one defense against that, and unfortunately, Nyx, oh nice, we got the dodge. Excellent. I was wondering if I should have had Kardakia do the Matarunda there. Probably should have, but it's okay that I missed that. Okay, so we'll go for the... Actually, what I want to do here is I'm just going to switch over to, let's see, who has the best endurance? Actually, I think Cert does have the best endurance. No, he doesn't. That would actually be Skatak. So I'm just going to switch over to her to be my defensive shield for this upcoming turn, because I can just send Nyx into the next phase with a normal slash attack.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. It is indeed a precious gift to understand the forces that guide oneself. Eternity awaits.
Nyx is now the Hierophant and will attack with Fatal End. Not particularly threatening. Note that she repels Strike in this phase, so if you are using Aegis as one of your main damage dealers, which I don't know why you would be, but if you were, you would not be able to land God's Hand here. So this is a situation where it would be a good idea to have a effective Pierce weapon on deck. Alright, the attack is reverting, but that's okay. Bufudyne will still deal some pretty great damage. You'll note that Yukari is going to burn through her SP pretty quickly, but we have tons of Somas at our disposal in order to mitigate, or rather, keep our SP topped up throughout the entire battle. And of course, since Somas have HP healing bundled in, that will allow us to fully recover the team without really losing any opportunity here. Here comes Rebellion, and this is where things are going to get really annoying. Almighty attack coming out. Okay, no crit. That's good, that's good. Alrighty, let's switch over to Kardakia here and get the Matarukaja up. Again, Yukari, until she has to restore her SP, she's just going to be healing every turn, unless we get really lucky and everybody manages to dodge, which we're not really guaranteed to have happen. Okay. Now, let's get the Medea Rahan going up. I do need to internally count how many turns Aegis has taken with her buff in effect, because when her buff is on the cusp of expiring, that's how I know when I want to apply Matarunda. The Bufudyne onto Nyx. Not as good as Ragnarok, but still solid damage. And we will get the Masuku Kaja. This is one turn. There's going to be so many times where I'm just going, ah. And here comes the fatal end. And there is the crit. Not exactly desirable to see, but fortunately, if there was anybody that Nyx could have critted there you're seeing the big issue with keeping debuffs on Nyx. Nyx's 2 actions do increment their buff and debuff counter by 2 stages. Alright, we're able to get Cert into here. Let's go with the Ragnarok. And of course, we'll have Yukari heal here. This might actually take us into the next phase, yes?
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. There is both joy and wonder in coming to understand another. Eternity awaits.
Heading into the Lovers phase, Nyx will pick up Pulinpa and keep striking with Almighty Attack. Not anything that we should be too scared about this phase, though note that if Yukari did have the opportunity to attack, she wouldn't really be super effective because this phase, rather unsurprisingly, nullifies wind attack. So let's get the Bufudine from Mitsuru here. And coming into Aigis' turn, we'll finally be able to get a God's Hand in with her. And conveniently, this is a phase that's 2 turns. Again, I'm going to be internally counting to myself how many turns have passed for Aigis, because I do need to keep her cooldown, or her timer for, there we go, that's good. I've got the Tome of the Void on Yukari and the Femc. Okay, no crit there. Very good, very good. So we can go into a Ragnarok and probably just immediately... Actually, you know what? No, I want to be err on the side of caution. I'm going to switch to Kardakia here, and we are going to instead hit the Matarunda. Make sure Nyx isn't dealing good damage. We'll get the Medir Rahan going. There we go. Then I can have Mitsuru and Aigis hit the Bufudine and... God's Hand. This will be the 3rd turn coming up for Aigis. And there goes her defense buff. So that's why I wanted to get the Matarunda in. It's only going to last for 2 turns, but that's enough for our purposes. Only 2 rounds of combat, so that's enough for our purposes.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. One of life's greatest blessings is the freedom to pursue one's goals. Eternity awaits.
Heading into the Chariot phase, this is where Nyx starts to become really problematic. We have Power Charge to deal with. Thankfully, we got the dodge there, and we have mostly all the buffs and debuffs we need in effect. With that, I'm going to switch over to Cert and uncork some pretty good damage. Our Matarukaja is starting to expire, but that's not that big a deal. Note that unlike Reload, where buffs are purged in between phase changes, that is not a problem that happens in the older versions of games, thankfully, so we don't have to worry about wasting SP on debuffs that end up getting purged anyway. One of the rare opportunities we have for Yukari to get a strike in. Not very powerful, but it is still extra damage we otherwise wouldn't be getting. Let's get the Bufudine in. There we go.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. To find the one true path, one must seek guidance amidst uncertainty. Eternity awaits.
Heading into the Justice phase, Nyx picks up Mahama skills in addition to the standard Almighty attack we've come to expect at this point. Let me see, I need Marakukaja. Where is it? Wish you could organize your skill list in the way that you'd prefer for it to be. But yeah, Nyx now can use Mahama skills. Thankfully, the game pretty graciously just gives you a ton of homunculi at this point, so we should have more than enough to weather any storm that Nyx decides to throw at us. Here comes Mahama. Hopefully we mostly dodge, though, because I, again, only have so many of those to burn. So let's get Kardakia out, and let's get Matarukaja back up on the party. One of the nice things about facing down Hama skills is that I don't have to worry about healing, so Yukari can actually get some damage in. So let's get her to use Garudine. And probably next time I need her to heal, I'll just have her use a Soma. She can do one more Media Rahan, but if she does anything else, she'll lose the ability to use Media Rahan, so I may as well just go for the Soma anyway. Oh, darn, he's weak to ice here. I didn't pay attention. I do have a list of all the things that come up here, and it's not actually nullifies fire here as well, so that is another problem point. Regardless, we have plenty of good physical options at our disposal, so that's only a minor nuisance. Okay, almighty attack coming out. Hit everybody, but ooh, here we go. Oof, that's always scary when I see those chained almighty attacks. Let's get Skatak out here and do some strong hits. Like I said, since Yukari needs to heal anyway, and she's low on SP, nice! I'm going to have her use a Soma instead of Media Rahan.
Take this!
Again, if, theoretically, or rather hypothetically speaking, if Nyx instead went for his Hama skills and I had Yukari attack there, she'd drain enough SP that she wouldn't be able to do any more healing after that anyway. That's 2 turns for Aegis, so next turn I'm going to want to hit Matarunda on Nyx.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. It requires great courage to look at oneself honestly and forge one's own path. Eternity awaits.
Heading into the next phase here, Nyx goes to Hermit, which is a Mudo-based pattern, so hopefully we can dodge these. Okay, that's good, that's good. She also has Makarakarn here, which actually isn't that big a deal. I mean, it does eat up one of our attacks, but we can just bounce it back into ourselves, so it's really not that big a deal. Gonna switch over to Kardakia here in order to get the Matarunda in. Nyx nullifies wind in this phase, but is otherwise once again fully vulnerable to fire and ice, allowing us to deal good damage there. We're also going to be getting in a full round of attacks from everybody except the Femsi, since I need Matarunda in. We're on the expiry turn for Aegis's Marakukaja buff. Alright, get the God's Hand going, and deal some pretty good damage. Got the Giga Power Band on Aegis though, plus 10 strength, it's hard to say no to. Foul Breath coming out. I'm not too worried about ailments on anybody in the team, really. Okay, all our stuff is expiring, but that's okay. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna switch to Cert. Yes, Cert is fine. I'm gonna switch to Cert here. We'll be able to get our Ma Rakukaja back up at the end of this turn. Deal some good damage to Nyx with this Ragnarok here. There we go.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Alongside time exists fate, the bearer of cruelty. Eternity awaits.
Heading into Fortune, Nyx attacks with every element in this specific phase, so it's a little hard to account for everything that she can possibly do. She is also immune to all elements, so you're not going to have much luck actually doing any good elemental damage to her here, unless you go through the effort of setting up a break, which why would you? We've got the tools at our disposal to deal good damage without having to do breaks, so let's just hit Nyx with some good slash attacks there. Get the Ma Rakukaja up, and then next turn we can also get Ma Tarukaja up, so Ma Rakukaja from Aegis. This is gonna be an interesting turn. Aguilau is fine. Okay, it's not fine that it hit Mitsuru. Nyx can stand to get a lot of extra turns in this phase, however, it shouldn't be that big a deal. Garudine coming out. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Next up, we will get our Ma Tarukaja and our Ma Sukukaja back in effect. So let's get the Ma Tarukaja. This will make our skills so much more effective. With the Ma Sukukaja in effect, also help us avoid any potential weakness exploits that are going to be sent our way.
Take this!
That Pierce attack. Mitsuru's going to get back up and do her strike. It's going to be a lot more potent than Yukari's. And Aegis, of course, that's one turn with Ma Rakukaja. Get Ma Sukukaja back up. And then this phase should be relatively straightforward. We're going to switch into Skatak on the Femsi, since we can get those weapon-boosted physical strikes. Here comes a Mazio. Lucky dodge there. I appreciate that. Didn't need Yukari to dodge at all. There we go. And now into skip. No! Whoops! I misread my buttons there. That was not what I wanted to do. Obviously. Oh, that's a bit of a waste, but that's okay. I was trying to be very cautious with MC. I do have a bad tendency to mix up the guard and the persona button. That's actually the first time it happened on recording. I do it all the time when I'm playing on my own time. That's 2 turns for Aigis there. That's unfortunate. Whoopsie. That's going to make this phase go on for an extra turn, but that's not a big deal. Got Mabufudain coming here. See, I was mitigating a huge amount of damage on the Femsi there. Those Agis, obviously, even though they're weak, they can still be annoying because that does still proc a weakness, even if it isn't very strong. Okay, so we're going to need to, unfortunately, again, this has just been stalled out a little bit, so we're going to go into Kardakia because Aigis' defense buff is about to expire. And then we will just have Yukari hit Media Rahan. Yeah, Yukari's low endurance and low HP is going to be a continual problem throughout this fight. It almost does make me wonder if getting her an Eon weapon would be worth my while. Anyways.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Only with strength can one endure suffering and torment. Eternity awaits.
Into the strength, Nyx is immune to physicals in this phase, so unfortunately Aigis cannot get any damage taps here. We also got almighty attacks being sent our way once again. Tempest Slash coming out. Oof, critical, always bad. And Rakunda, that's actually not that big a deal. It's kind of annoying, but we can manage, let me see here. What I'm going to do is get a Cert in for a little bit of damage. That does mean Aigis is unfortunately going to have to go without defense buffs for a while, but she has the highest endurance buff. And the reason she's going to go without them is because I don't want to stagger my rotation at all. I want to have everybody getting the buffs in. Fortunately, again, Aigis has both pretty high HP and the highest endurance of anybody in the cast, especially with that Eon weapon in effect for her. So we've got our defense buffs expiring. Now we can get everybody buffed up and get Aigis back to neutral at least. Hit with the Bufudain there. Next turn we'll get Ma Tarukaja up. This turn we'll be getting Ma Rakukaja up. Boom, boom, boom. Alright. And here comes Deathbound, another potentially problematic thing. Deathbound has a very high crit rate. Tempest Slash coming out. Okay, that's good, that's good. Let's get Kardakia out and get the Ma Tarukaja on the entire team. I might actually be able to forego healing here, honestly. Let's see, Ma Tarukaja. Do I want to take that risk? You know what? Yeah, I think I can get away with that, because Aigis can't attack anyway, so I'm not going to be spending any of her HP on God's Hand. We'll do a Garudine. If we can hit enough damage, we can get Nyx out of this phase. She does have the ability to use Power Charge in this phase, which would be pretty detrimental to us if she chained that into a Deathbound and got a crit, so definitely want to speed her along out of here.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. In the face of disaster lies opportunity for renewal. Eternity awaits.
Nyx is now shifting into Hanged Man. No notable resistances here, aside from the obligatory resistance to Hama and Mudo skills, but she does switch into using Almighty magics, as well as some fear-based ailment skills, so that's something to watch out for. Not anything I'm particularly threatened by there. That's 2 turns for Aigis with, well actually, no, okay, she also has Mudo skills here. That's fine. And then another Mudo. Honestly, if she's doing weak single-target Mudos, that is perfectly fine by me. Okay. Surprisingly low-key turn from Nyx there. Okay, hit the Ragnarok here. Some very good damage coming out. We actually didn't take any HP damage there, so we're perfectly fine. Hit the Bufudain here.
The moment man devoured the fruit of knowledge, he sealed his fate. In Entrusting his future to the cards, man clings to a dim hope. Yet the arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Beyond the beaten path lies the absolute end. It matters not who you are. Death awaits you. Eternity awaits.
And now, Nyx has switched to her true arcana, Death. This is where we see the most threatening skills from Nyx come out, and it's also the longest phase. Nyx has 6,000 HP to burn through here, so I'm actually going to have Igus just do a normal Fierce attack here. Don't want her to use up any HP. We've got Poison Mist coming out, which is just a nuisance more than anything. Bufudyne coming out from Nyx. I have access to Amrita on...
Death. Nyx's true arcana is death.
Thank you, Fuka. I do have Amrita on Skatak, so we can actually have a counter to all ailment skills coming our way. Remember that the Tome of the Void only covers mental ailments, and that's most of the ailments you'd actually care about. The only thing it doesn't affect is poison, freeze, and shock. Poison is annoying, shock is dangerous, freeze is just not really much of a threat at all. Okay. The Media Rahan going. Note that Nyx doesn't have any notable resistances here. She just attacks with a smorgasbord of different elemental attacks, so not anything you have to be too concerned about. That Bufudyne there. And we'll have Igus go for God's Hand here for some good damage. Our buffs should be expiring next turn, and we should be able to get everyone back on cycle. Nice, a crit. Agidyne coming out. As long as it's not aimed at Mitsuru, I'm perfectly fine with that. Bufudyne aimed at Mitsuru, absolutely fine. And yes, our buffs are starting to expire. We'll be able to get everyone back in cycle with this turn. Now, Cert does still have his ice weakness. I probably should have invested in a resist ice card. I don't really need that Deathbound, but I'm okay with that. Nyx only really attacks with the single targeting elemental stuff, so I can still get a diving save off of that. Do the Ragnarok here. Get our bit of damage in. A Garudyne from Yukari. As if we can chip through that 6,000 HP bit by bit, it'll be so nice, so nice. So nice, I should hit her with some ice. Get the Bufudyne here. I have the ice bracers on Mitsuru so that it multiplies with her innate ice amp skill. Now Igus will be back in cycle with everyone, and we'll have our buffs going the way we need them to. And obviously next turn I'll be switching into Kardakia in order to get the Matarukaja up. Poison Mist coming out. They'll actually be slightly annoying. Yeah, okay, that's fine though. I can just have Yukari use an item to get that off the FMC. Well, actually, I'm wondering. I do need to get the attack buff going, so it's going to be a little complicated this turn. Poison is kind of an X factor here, because it's an ailment without some very, very particular handling. You can't really account for, you just kind of have to suffer it. There we go. And it does deal some pretty nasty damage. I think what I'll do is I'll actually just let the poison persist for right now, and then I'll take care of it next turn. Now, if Yukari just use Media Rahan here to get everybody topped off, and then I'll have Igus get Masuku Kaja in play. Alright, go for the Bufudyne with Mitsuru. Now that we have Matarukaja in effect, stacking that in with our passives give us even nicer damage. And now we can get the Masuku Kaja in effect. Depending on what I'm going to do this next turn is going to depend heavily on what Nyx decides to do here.
You cannot avoid death. To live is to die. They are one and the same. It's useless.
Wait! Something's strange about Nyx! I have a bad feeling about this. It's definitely up to something. Have everyone hold their attacks. It's too dangerous right now.
Like FES, once the Moonless Gown hits the field, do not attack Nyx. You will be facing down a really, really nasty counter-strike. If you have any debuff skills that you apply, this is where Akihiko gets to just purely debuff bot to just keep Nyx as weak as possible. Not really an option I have here. We're coming up on Magus's second turn buff. Mitsuru herself also has very, very little she can do here, so I'm just looking through my items. Do I have anything particularly useful here? I don't want to use my mirrors, because I'm not really sure how Nyx reacts to them, so we're just going to have Mitsuru throw up her defense here. No reason to have her risk herself. We're on Aigis' second turn with Ma Rakukaja in effect, so let's have her defend here. Again, we're just waiting for the Moonless Gown. That's actually perfectly fine. I need to kind of stall out anyway. I would have liked to have gotten... Ooh, that's a little unfortunate. Yeah, that's actually going to force a bit of a different play on... Oh, never mind. I was going to say that would force a different play, but Kartakia isn't actually weak to Alex, so I don't have to worry about his weakness being or his resistance being nullified there, because he's only going to take neutral damage from it anyway. I may as well have Yukari just preemptively top off our SP, why not? We've been burning through quite a bit of it. Okay. Defense once again, and there goes our defense buff. I didn't set up the Matarunda because I needed to get, okay, the Moonless Gown has been lifted. Now we can get our attacks back in form. Okay, whew. Every time I see one of those almighty attacks come out, it makes me sweat a little bit. Let's have Cert here. Our Matarukaja is going to be a little out of cycle with the rest of our buffs, the way we've had it set up to this point. That really doesn't matter that much. I'm not too particular about that. Just as long as I can have Matarukaja in effect throughout the fight to keep our attacks more potent than possible. Again, I have to reiterate, 6,000 HP. Just as a little fun fact, I am actually recording this before the FES iteration of the battle, for reasons that I'll go into once we get into the game's epilogue. So, I'm probably going to be a little redundant in the commentaries, though in the actual video, you're only going to be hearing this portion if you're watching the compilation. Let's get, not Matarukaja, what am I doing here? I want Rakukaja. You're only going to be hearing this commentary if you're watching the compilation version of this fight. Ooh, Dekaja is nasty. Well, at least it gets my buffs all back in cycle. That does mean, though, we have to face down a full power Zeodyne and full power Bufudyne. Yeah, that's nasty. Alright, back to Kartakia we go. Get the Matarukaja up. At the very least, due to the way I'm sequencing my actions here, Mitsuru is not going to be too badly affected by this. As long as she can keep getting in that 250 HP damage, we're going to eventually grind our way to the victory in this battle. I'm not too pressed about Dekaja. If Nyx is going to waste an action on Dekaja, that's perfectly fine. Okay, get the Bufudyne from Mitsuru here. Mitsuru does quite well here, since she, for once, just her pure damage focus does mean, again, that we can just gradually grind our way to victory in this battle. Of course, I would like to get more powerful strikes from Cert in periodically, but as long as we're advancing our win condition at all. And 2 almighty attacks. Okay, oof, no crits there. Always nervous when I see that. Alright, we've got an opportunity to tee off with Cert now. Also, Kartakia's got his Elec immunity back, which is pretty nice. Get the Ragnarok going here. There we go. About halfway to defeating Nyx here. This is a long battle in FES and Portable. You're gonna be here for a while, and needless to say, it is very heartbreaking if you lose towards the end. Alright, get the Bufudyne up. And then, let's see, I need Ma Sukukaja. It's the first turn Aigis has had Ma Rakukaja in effect. Okay, almighty attack. Okay, nothing too bad there. Another almighty attack. She's going for the almighty attack spam strat. That honestly works out, as long as she doesn't get a crit, that works out just fine for us. Allows me to just hit juicy Ragnaroks on her. Again, that's double the damage. Well, close to double the damage that Mitsuru is doing. Oh, you know what? I probably should have used Matarunda there. I'm actually going to have Aigis guard on this upcoming turn because her defense buff is about to expire. Could have mitigated Nyx's damage a bit more here. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, no, wait, I'm off. This is the second turn. Never mind, I can just have her God's Hand. Next turn, though, I'm definitely going to want to have to hit Nyx with Matarunda.
It's useless.
Not like I'd have much of a choice anyways, because the Moonless Gown is hitting the field. And Windbreak. That was a bit more immature. Just imagine I inserted a reverb fart SFX there. Anyways, we're fine to just hit Nyx with Matarunda here. Keep her damage nice and low. There we go. Attack has reverted. We don't actually need any healing, so I can just have Yukari guard here. I can do the same for Mitsuru. And we're actually not going to bother re-upping... We're not going to bother re-upping Mataru Kaja right away, because we have to wait for the Moonless Gown to expire anyway, so just not really much sense in getting it set up. Okay, so I can just have the Femsi go into the defensive position here. Did it for Yukari. We didn't really take that much damage there, so I'm not really that worried about what's going on here. Let's defend here. Let's have Aegis get everybody's defense buff back up. We'll have one turn, or one action of reduced damage from the Matarunda, so that'll go nicely with the fact that we got a few people guarding here. Well, most of the team guarding. Only Aegis had to actually do something. Moonless Gown has expired, so this turn we can actually get our attack buff back in. Bit unfortunate that was the first action that Moonless Gown was expiring. Okay, let's go to Kartakia here. We're already on him. Always a good idea to double check that kind of thing. Get the Mataru Kaja up now. And we've got a nice cycle of buffs going again. Okay, let's have Yukari use Media Rahan here. And now Mitsuru is once again fine to do her normal thing, which is just drop a giant ice block on Nyx's head. We might have one more Moonless Gown come up. Depending on how the fight goes from this point, we'll probably have one more Moonless Gown come up before I can finish her. That's one turn with Maharaku Kaja in effect. Alright, what's Nyx gonna go for here? Deikaja, that's annoying, but not the end of the world. We only have to suffer one attack from her. Thankfully, she pretty consistently follows that up with elemental skills, and the AI roulette kind of favors that she's just gonna do something that's not that threatening. I think I'll have Yukari just use a simple Dia Rahan on Aegis there. Keep her health as high as possible. Wind Affinity is reverted, but that's okay. We'll grind out another 200 damage with, Mitsuru there. Man, the way that, I kind of wish there would just be like a vertical list for selecting characters to heal there. We can grind out another 200 damage with Mitsuru here. And get the defense buff back in play with Aegis, so let's do that. Maharaku Kaja. You always want some form of damage mitigation in play on this fight. Things can go wrong in a hurry. Okay, oh hey, another Deikaja. Well, if that's what Nyx wants to do, who am I to judge them? Zeodyne, but winging it at somebody who is resistant to it. Again, if that was going after Aegis, that would have been a bit of an issue. Well, this actually means, since we have no damage up, that actually is one of the few times Yukari is going to be able to get some damage in, so that's an extra 100 damage coming from Yukari there. Presuming we could do 300 damage every single turn, that means, oh man, it would take 20 turns of attacking Nyx in order to finish the fight. Yukari finally gets her shot at glory, and she completely bungles it. It's okay, girl. I've been there before. Get our Maharaku Kaja back up. Honestly, if Nyx just chooses to do that... Okay, gonna feel many attacks. Not gonna see any dodges, most likely. Okay, there we go. That's fine. Well, that means I can actually get some damage in with Cert. That'll allow us to advance the fight considerably faster. Get the Ragnarok going. Obviously, Yukari just gonna heal us up here. Okay, get the Media Rahan out.
Hang in there.
600 damage. If we were able to do 600 damage every single turn, obviously it would take 10 turns to clear this phase of the fight. Pretty lengthy, but not the longest battle I've ever experienced in the game. Not like Final Fantasy XII's bonus boss. I've never actually personally done that. I just know the legends.
Persona!
Alright, I actually do want Nyx to just do the double almighty attack here. Provided there's no crits coming our way. Oh, never mind. Moonless Gown. Figured we'd have one more phase of that coming in. So this is a good opportunity to get Matarunda in to just minimize more damage coming out from Nyx. Haha. So let's switch over to Kartakia. It's Surprised I haven't had to use my Enduring Soul at this point, but again, better safe than sorry. You'll definitely want to account for that, so got the Moonless Gown. I might actually take the opportunity to just, why not, hit a Racunda on Nyx here. Guard. Guard. Let's see. That is the second turn of... So I used Masuka, yeah, second turn. So our buff will be expiring soon. Bufudine coming out from Nyx here. And Poison Mist, a little annoying, but not the end of the world if that happens during this phase of the battle. Okay, our attack buff is expiring, but that's okay. Not really. Unfortunately, that does mean I'm not going to be able to use, what is it? Racunda there. Okay. And defense is reverting, but that's okay. We've still got one more attack of, okay, never mind. Well, regardless, we're guarding anyways, and Nyx is only gonna...
Let us finish this. It is the path of your choosing.
Night Queen, here we go. Nyx's ultimate attack hits you with random ailments. This is what you need Tomes of the Void for. Surprisingly, not a single person got tagged with an ailment there. That is not something you see happen too often. That is not who I wanted to switch to. That is okay, that is okay. I was already on Kartakia, and then I just kind of had a brain fart there. Do I got any sutras? Attack sutras? I should have invested in those. Well, since I'm on her anyway, I may as well just go for a normal attack, why not? It's going to be relatively weak, but I may as well advance the win condition. Okay, let's get the Nadir Rahan from Ikari. Night Queen will be hitting the field pretty frequently now, so we're almost certainly going to have to cure some ailments off of Mitsuru and Aegis throughout this stage of the battle. Let's get our defense buff back in play. Okay. Have to be very careful. Sometimes I just reflexively press buttons and don't use the correct skill. That happens all the time when I'm playing off recording. I guard when I guard or I run away when I mean to actually do an attack or switch a persona. Magarudyne coming out. Magarudyne is no threat at all. Okay, go back to Kartakia over here. Get the Matarukaja up. And also get the Masukukaja up from Aegis.
Persona!
Wondering if I should just use a Soma now. It doesn't really matter. I got SP to spare. Let's hit the Nadir Rahan. We actually still have all our Endures, so we're in a pretty good position for the rest of this fight. I'm feeling confident about this. Knock on wood, knock on wood. I'm not actually gonna knock on wood, that would be loud. Go. And next up, let's see here, we are going to have Aegis hit the Masukukaja for us. And our actions will depend on what Nyx does here. Got another Night Queen coming out. The worst thing we could see, honestly, because we have the Tomes of the Void, the worst thing we could see is poison. And an Almighty attack. Oof. Nice! Okay, we are completely free here, so let's see here. Let's use Cert and get the Ragnarok in.
John is seriously hurt.
I noticed! Fuka, I noticed. There we go. Nice! This should be it, this should be it. Obviously, play it like the fight's still gonna go on. Do not take any chances with Nyx, you will regret it. This is a 45-minute fight, so definitely keep yourself locked in.
There's nothing we can do?
Don't give up! You have to believe in her!
Give her strength! Take my life if you must!
You got to let it move first, let it out, let it down, let it inside, let loose, let it change the breath. Let's let's get it up. Then what you gonna do is drop the hammer down. Drop, run, drop, hammer, thinking like a labor. You got blood all over, ash all over. Spit it out, some game's over. Come in there, spit it out like a spear, I'll burn the dread.
Yeah, I'm willing to risk mine too! She's going to face it all by herself!
No, she's not alone. I won't let her die.
Justice to the man with no life.
I won't allow this world to be destroyed!
All right, let's do this.
Invisible hands are behind you just now. If you ever been that race against beat, then you became cause it's no man's land. Masters in heavy rain, ultimately fame.
Come on, everyone. Let's band together and win this. I know we can do it.
Alright, the final battle against the Nyx Avatar. For this first turn, Nyx doesn't really do anything, so it's in our best interest to just pop off with our best attacking skills and advance to the next phase, where Nyx actually does start to do some stuff. I will preempt.
The moment man devoured the fruit of knowledge, he sealed his fate. Entrusting his future to the cards, he clings to a dim hope. Yes, the Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Attaining one's dream requires a stern will and unfailing determination.
Nyx's Arcana just changed to the Magician! His properties changed along with the Arcana! Be careful! It doesn't matter how many times he changes Arcana, I'll scan him no matter what!
Note that Nyx is now fire-based and is immune to fire skills, so if you're reliant on purely fire damage to lay out your pain, well, you're gonna run some trouble with this phase, but it honestly should not matter too much. Because we have just so much overwhelming power to work with, we don't really have to worry too much about these early phases. We'll likely get through them rather quickly, particularly just with how we have all these boosting skills now.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. The silent voice within one's heart whispers the most profound wisdom.
Entering the Priestess phase, Nyx now uses ice-based attacks. It's important to note that Nyx will eventually pick up double actions in Persona 3 Reload. Unlike the double actions in Persona 3 FES and Portable, this does not tick their debuff counter twice, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Let me get the party healed up here. We're definitely going to need access to some good healing to stay competitive with Nyx here. We're going to be taking a lot of hits throughout this battle. Koromaru is mostly just going to be building up towards Power Howling, so we can uncork some really good God's Hands and, oh, I always forget, Maximum Fire Powers.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Celebrate life's grandeur, its brilliance, its magnificence.
We've overcome every challenge we've faced.
heading into this phase, the Empress phase, Nyx now uses wind-based skills. I'm going to take this opportunity to start refreshing some of my buffs to make sure that we're in good standing for the coming phases. Fortunately, none of our characters are particularly threatened by Nyx's skills here. Let's see, I'm going to re-up Matarukaja, and then we can also have Akihiko give us a shot of Masukukaja. Very nice option for him to have there. So we will get the Masukukaja refresh. That'll allow us to continue to go into the remainder of the battle with the ideal buffs and debuffs in place. As you can see, every time Nyx goes through the Arcana change, their Debilitate is actually removed. Here comes the eerie sound, but this is not too much of a big deal. It isn't going to be until Nyx is doing double actions that we really have to worry about that. What I'm going to do here is I will just go into... let's go into Ashura. I'll have Koromaru heal off the distress on the MC.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Only courage in the face of doubt can lead one to the answer.
I'm detecting a surge of power from Nyx's sword. I want to protect this world and everyone in it.
Alright.
I know I can do it.
Alright, going into the Emperor phase, Nyx now has some power surge in their sword. Their primary attacking abilities are now elect-based also. So we've got a little bit of competition with Akihiko here. Speaking of Akihiko, I'm actually going to have him use an Aohige special to keep the party topped off going into this. We're definitely going to have some heavy attacks thrown our way, so we want to be prepared for that when they start to come out. Let's get our Primal Force on. Unfortunately, once again, the Debilitate has expired, and also we have to deal with the fact that she is now resistant to Pierce skills. Fortunately, we have other options at our disposal. Okay, what I'm gonna do here is I want to make sure that the party stays nice and healthy, so we're going to do Media Rahan here. I'll probably start refreshing our buffs and debuffs next turn as well. I could go for the Power Howling, but I'm actually going to just go for the Debilitate right now, and instead, we're going to punch right through Nyx's Elect Resistance with Electric Onslaught.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. It is indeed a precious gift to understand the forces that guide oneself.
Nyx's feathers are floating. What is this? There's some kind of special power in those feathers. Be careful. You're going to be way more vulnerable to mental ailments. Nyx just changed the Hierophant.
And Nyx is now also going to attack with slash skills. This is why having Unshaken Will and at least someone who is immune to physical ailments is a very, very good idea for this fight. Anyways, let's start refreshing our buffs in this phase of the fight. We definitely don't want these to end up being taken down on us. Doomsday Doctrine comes through, and fortunately, we are not threatened by the fear. I'm going to use Matarukaja with the MC. We're going to actually have Koromaru use a refresh pack to make sure that everybody is void of fear. And then we'll have Akihiko set us up with Masukukaja. Going into Aegis's turn. Not going to use her Theurgy just yet. It's probably better that I save it. And instead, we're just going to go into the Primal Force. Nyx is also resistant to strike skills in this specific phase, so I can't really make good use of Ashura in order to deal damage to Nyx here. Alright, good dodge, good dodge. Alright, what I'm going to do here, let's see. Probably the best idea would be to use Siegfried, so we're going to go for a Brave Blade here. There we go.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. There is both joy and wonder in coming to understand the hearts of others.
Nyx just changed to the Lover's type.
Alright, we've got the Lover's type. It's around this point that Nyx is probably going to start hitting us with Almighty Attack. Definitely something to be wary of. Gonna have Koromaru set up the Debilitate here. And for a bit of a niche option that doesn't come up too often, I'm actually going to have Akihiko heal the protagonist here. Make sure that he's at full HP. And I'm just going to have Aegis attack with a simple normal attack. Unfortunately, Pierce resistant here. Perhaps the influence of Yukari. Ooh, we did not have Ashura up, so we have Charm to deal with. That is A-okay though, because again, we've got all of these multi-targeting, status cures, and we've got one person who is resistant to them, absolutely. We'll definitely want to keep Ashura up more often, though, at this phase of the battle. Let's have Akihiko uncork a God's Hand now. Nice!
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. One of the greatest blessings attained from the gift of life is the freedom to pursue one's personal goals.
Nyx switched to the Chariot now.
Going into the Chariot Arcana, Nyx is naturally resistant to physicals. This is where it's a good idea to bust out maximum firepower, so we can just punch right through that, and ideally just bypass this phase entirely, since I am largely using physical-based skills for my damage.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. To find the one true path, one must seek guidance amidst uncertainty.
Nyx changed to the Justice Arcana.
With the Justice Arcana hitting the field, we are going to have to deal with light-based skills. A bit of an unfortunate thing for Koromaru to deal with, as you can imagine, but luckily he has his ability to block singular insta-kills. That won't proc for the rest of the battle, but this is going to be the most prominent time where we're facing down light skills, so I'm not overly concerned about that. Now we can set up Power Howling and get back to our physical barrage. In particular, we're going to have a pretty strong attack coming out from Akihiko here with his God's Hand. Let's have him uncork this. Beautiful.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. It requires great courage to look within oneself and forge one's own path.
He changed himself to the Hermit.
Following up the light-based Justice Arcana, we've now got the more dark-focused Hermit Arcana. Let me see here. I was actually considering using the Oracle there, but I think I'm going to spend some time refreshing our buffs and debuffs, or rather, getting our debuffs established at all. Ooh, that's an unexpected one. Yeah, there are some obviously key differences between how Nyx functions in Reload to what the phases are like in FES and Portable, so you do have to be a little bit mindful of that. Does make sense, though, that Hermit is using Elec, since, after all, the Hermit boss fight was an Elec-focused enemy. We can have Akihiko refresh our Masuku Kaja. And now I'm actually going to just have Aegis go in for the attack. Actually, you know what? No, what I'm going to do here is, since we've got Norn on the MC, we're going to want to use a Magic Mirror on him, make sure his weakness is covered. Might end up bouncing the Elect skill back into the Hermit Arcana, which, yeah, will definitely be to Nyx's benefit there. But I'm not overly concerned about that. Let's use the Medea Rahan here. And this is a good opportunity, actually, to have Akihiko just use Electric Onslaught again. Let me see here. What do I want Koromaru to do? You know what? I'm just gonna have him use a Getsue. Why not? Just let him get a light benefit out of the... Ooh, nice. Actually, you know what? I should probably be able to just get past this phase with a God's Hand. Why not? There we go!
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Ever present alongside time is fortune, cruel and unflinching.
Heading into the Fortune Arcana, Nyx is now a multi-elemental specialist, so be prepared for that. We could have some potentially nasty skills thrown our way, which, if we didn't skip the phase entirely.
The means by which all is revealed. One needs strength to endure and rise above suffering and torment.
Accept your fate.
Ooh, oh, jeez. That was brutal there. Ow. Well, Akihiko has exhausted his, well, actually, me and Akihiko have both exhausted our endures, so we're not getting any more mulligans for the rest of this battle. That was disastrous. Ow. Bit unfortunate, but yeah, as you'd expect, this phase of Nyx sees us facing down some pretty potent physical skills, some very nasty ones too. Oof, that was brutal. We're definitely going to want to get our buffs refreshed before they have a chance to expire on us, so let's get that going. Let's go with Ma Rakukaja here, and then when the MC's turn comes back around, we'll also get Ma Tairakaja refreshed. Or actually, you know what? I think I might just go for... doing that with Aegis, because I can instead just switch over to Siegfried here, and use our Scarlet Havoc to finish off this phase of Nyx. The strength is, once again, a physical-based Arcana, so we're going to need Theurgies to punch through that.
The Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. In the face of unavoidable disaster lies the opportunity to search for redemption.
Nyx changed to the Hanged Man!
Alright, so let's just take the Hanged Man head on, get Debilitate set up right away. We don't want any repeats of the previous Arcana. Oof, that was brutal for me. I've already lost my endurabilities, so that's going to be unfortunate. Just extending all this stuff now. Get Ma Tairakaja set up, and then we can uncork our own attacks against Nyx here. Alright, Grim Transcendence coming out. And here we go, Nyx gets more actions. Gonna be something that we're going to have to face down a lot more going into the rest of this battle. Fortunately, they decided to attack the most evasive member of my crew. Akihiko is also pretty evasive with his, ooh, that's gonna be scary. We better get Nyx taken care of before they actually can do anything with that. So, what we're going to do is, of course, switch over to Ashura, and we're going to mostly, pivot towards using items to heal, and keeping Ashura up as much as possible, because we will, want to, let me see here. I'm going to use an Aohige special here with Koromaru. We are going to want to have immunity to mental ailments coming up here. Fortunately, we've got plenty of things like Somas. I believe we got a couple bead chains kicking around. Let me actually double check that before we get into the more scary parts of the battle. So let's see, do you got Somas? Do I have bead chains? Let's see here. Oh, right, I reshuffled my inventory for the stuff. Yes, I do, yes, I do. That is actually plenty for this battle. We're going to have Akihiko just power us through this phase of the battle.
You're going down. Now you die.
The moment man devoured the fruit of knowledge, he sealed his fate. Entrusting his future to the cards, man clings to a dim hope. Yet the Arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Beyond the journey you have taken lies the absolute end. It matters not who you are. One thing is always certain. Death awaits all.
I sense the Death Arcana. This is Nyx's true form.
I didn't want you to suffer, but the time for that is long past. Is this really what you desire? Well, I already know the answer. Very well, let us continue until the world meets its end.
The world won't end. Let's go, Ryoji.
I am with you to the very end.
Alright, this is the true form of the Nyx avatar, Death. So, what we're actually going to do here is we're going to have Aegis use an item for us for once. We're going to use Debilitator Sutras. I really don't want to wait until Koromaru's turn comes around to utilize that, and there is...
You cannot avoid death. To live is to die. They are one and the same.
There are some things I would like for Koromaru to do. As you can see, his theurgy is ooh, ow. That's pretty brutal right there. Fortunately, we have plenty of Somas at our disposal. Koromaru's turn is coming up, and he's just about got a Power Howling ready. I am actually going to use a Soma here, because I just want to make sure, absolutely, that we don't run out of SP before this battle is over. Alright, we are going to fire off the Power Howling here. And Akihiko doesn't really have anything critical going on this turn, so we're just going to have him immediately uncork his fully charged God's Hand, and we'll probably have Aegis go for the maximum firepower as well. Boom. And got another one for you, Nyx.
Behold, this is the path you have chosen. The Arcana has revealed.
I'm scared.
That is Nyx's ultimate skill, the infamous Night Queen. Just random debuffs, or random ailments to every character. Let me see here. Just making sure none of our buffs have expired, and some of them are starting to go, but we should be able to win this hand, or win this fight, before Nyx does one of their nastier things. So let's go with the God's Hand here.
I will.
Don't give up! We're gonna get through this together!
Give him strength! Take my life if you must!
Don't worry, I'm invincible, so legendary. If I fall down, I'm gonna get back up, right back up into where I left off. Feel the battle because I got my crew on my back, so I've already.
You better come back from this! You hear me? don't believe it. He's going to face it all alone.
No, he's not alone! I'm not letting him die!
The end is coming near, so burn my dread. Accept my fate, don't worry about a thing, it's in my bag, so burn my dread. A little about a situation, every second I was losing patience. Couldn't execute like daily operations. Who could? Well, we had such a deep relationship. But I chose the path, the right path, sure. Giving my all, cure, home, war. Ready for whatever outcome, which is my road. I'm being despair, however it's played out.
You promised. Didn't you? Please, you have to make it back!
Ashes all over, but it's okay, kid, it's over.
Alright, let's do this.
With the hopes of everyone, more importantly than all that, our friends at our back, we have unlocked the final skill of Persona 3, the Great Seal, the power to seal Nyx. The only thing it costs is our life. Let's burn our dread away.
I don't dispute the doubts you've outlined, but it's my right to waste your time.